Warning: Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are warned that the following program contains images, references to, and voices of deceased persons. Viewer discretion is advised. AFL Northern Territory thanks the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, the ABC, for allowing us to broadcast this game. This broadcast may not be reproduced by any means without the express permission of the ABC as the rights holder.
Coming from the vault, 1994, the rematch between the VFA and the NTFL representative team. Well, prior 2 weeks we just finished our grand final between St Mary's and Buffaloes, and in that side, so the I take my hat off the NTFL the committee that put together 2 weeks notice before we played the VFA. So they end up having, I think there was 8 of us from St Mary's premiership team. From the losing grand final, Buffaloes had 5 in that team. And then you had 2 Wanderers players, you had 1 Waratahs player, and I think there was 3 district players. So, I mean, they done well because we end up coming out as winners. Yeah, so the history between the VFA and the NTFL, it goes back to the 1988 Bicentennial Carnival in Adelaide. And the NTFL were put into the Div 2 side, and the VFA thought they were good enough to be in the Div 1 side, but they didn't realise that, the NTFL had stars all over the ground, and like a Michael Long, a Michael McLean, you got the Riolis, and you got all the Duns, and Willie Rowe and all those. I was a kid, I was only watching as well, and then my little brother, Willie Rioli, he was the one that, I think he was only 16, and I think he played in a few games, but when they played the GF or the Carnival Div 2, he ended up I think he was just a runner or something, So I think they wanted us to try and get us back in 94. I think before the game, I think KJ and a few of KJ's John Taylor, he was the coach, and a few of the board members, they brought that up, that never, not an NT A grade team or, have never won a game here on Victoria soil. So it was good to change that, and plus to be in that team as well. I think we had 2 back here in Darwin, and I think we had 1 morning session in Victoria. But putting the side together, most of us boys, I know we played for different teams, but we played in other NTFL teams, so we knew how the way we played and all that, and we gelled really good. So it was good. It was really good. We did notice there was a few people there, but I think they kept it under wraps. So whoever the recruiters are looking at, because I believe that if someone told like an Andy McLeod or a Robbie Matt, there's someone watching them, they wouldn't have played a pretty good game. When we first saw them running out at Victoria Park, we thought, well, they're a pretty big bunch of boys, and I think our tallest would have been our 2 ruckmans, that was Jason Jones and Kenny Howe. Like I said, we played before, we gelled before, and we knew what to do or what to expect to play against bigger boys, just to make sure that you keep the ball on the ground or use the ball well and use our speed. And that's what the VFA didn't have, speed. They had bigger bodies where they'll out-muscled us, but once the ball hit the ground, we were gone. You can probably see the games where, you can see Andy McLeod and Robbie and Matt just taking off, and they couldn't catch them.
Well, we'll wait and see. With me, and we welcome to Victoria, Kevin Norton joining us. He's a legend up in the territory, both media-wise and football-wise, Vice President of the League. Great to have you with us, Kev.
Thanks, Peter, and as you said, Darwin weather. It is a perfect Darwin day here. It's probably about 25, 26 degrees and a bit of humidity in the air too, so good for our players.
And the ball has been bounced back with us this year, as we've already seen the VFA trying to exert their physical superiority. There's no bigger physical presence than Slam Sam Kekovich. Great to have you back, Keka.
Terrific, Peter. I feel as though I've never left the place. It was only last week we had the grand final.
What, you mean Collingwood? That one game you played out here?
Actually, I played 4. But it does promise to be a terrific game. And, of course, as Kevin mentioned, there'll be a marked contrast in certainly playing styles, the pace and handling skills of the territory, opposed to the more orthodox approach of the VFA, the long kicking, physical game.
And Ross Booth back with us, of course, for season 1994. Good afternoon, Roscoe.
Yes, welcome everybody here in Victoria and in the Northern Territory. And yes, it is a beautiful day. A slight breeze favouring the right of screen. That's the main stand-in. but it may favour the Northern Territory boys as the game wears on. Of course, they're at the end of their season, whereas the VFA are just heading out. And Trevor Barker, the coach, one of just 4 left in the VFA, and he'll be pretty keen to get that mantle of the best domestic competition in Australia. We'll wait and see.
Okay. And the play in the forward line for the VFA, but not for long. The Territory, the very attractive uniform, the white with the red coloured, representing the sand of the centre. The traditional Territory colours, the VFA in their royal blue and yellow. Putting his body in there was Paul Williams, number 30 for the VFA. Some good tackling from the Territory. The gang tackle there, and the umpire rewarding the tackler with the free kick, and it's going to be Brian Stanislaus, one of those Aboriginal All-Stars who beat Collingwood, and here he is on the Collingwood ground.
Prolific goal scorer too, Peter, in the NTFL, Brian Stanislaus.
There's Dunn flying from behind. Expect to see that today. Stolen off the pack well by Chris Wall. The VFA clear. The handball out from Sean Bowden, and player down after he got rid of it. So the free kick will go down ground.
Kevin, I'd imagine Dennis Dunn being the target up forward after that demolition he did on Paul Kelly at Collingwood.
Yeah, Dennis
Kelly, I should say.
Dennis Dunn would be what they'll be looking for on the lead, but they'll find Adrian Collard's been instructed to perhaps drop back and do a bit of work closer to goal.
Stanislaus giving away that free kick on Gavin Edwards, the Port Melbourne back pocket. Ball spilt by Bowden. Now Sinney, the reigning Liston medalist, trying to get the ball out, unable to. So number 3 is Michael Sinney from Paran, the wingman. He's got plenty of pace, so he'll be looking to try and match it with the Territory boys here today. And here's Williams. Out-rucked there by Jason Jones, 2-time Nichols best and fairest winner in the NTFL. Good strong play from Darren Saunders, shooting the ball out to Justin Clarkson. Good close checking from the Territory. Here's Jones, had quite a deal of time to get rid of it, but he's got some support. It's some support coming then for Simon Lennox, who got the handball across. Lovely pass from Sasha Dyson Holland. And directly in front, this is Sean Smith. Sam, from North Melbourne to Werribee this year. Do you know much about him?
Yes, he was quite a workmanlike type, Peter, but with North Melbourne soaring fortunes in recent times and securing a number of younger personnel, it was believed that he'd had his opportunity at senior level and that he'd be best served going elsewhere, but he's certainly been a tremendous player over a period of time.
So the first goal on the board.
After indiscretion too, a 50-metre penalty, or 25-metre penalty.
Probably in this first few minutes, Sam, the VFA have been first to the ball, which sort of goes against the grain of what we're expecting today. Territory's got enough pace out there, they've just got to settle down a bit.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to note in even the opening 3 or 4 minutes that they're deploying the corridor a lot more, the VFA. They're keeping it nice and tight and confined, as opposed to being exposed to that probably lack of pace out wide.
The bounce by umpire man, and the Territory go forward through McGann. Out for VFA's Normington, back from Fitzroy. Karanua, centre wing. Nice little turn, drives it long, looking for Dunn, he's at the back. Read it better. In for support comes Normington and rushed through. For throw in, and it is a bright sunny day here at Victoria Park.
Conditions are absolutely perfect. You couldn't wish for a better day for football. Although it will be energy sapping for the VFA, who haven't had the best of preparations for this encounter.
Stanislaus got the shepherd. Arriving was Darren Saunders to wrap him up. The conditions, Kevin, they really should favour the Territory, shouldn't they?
Well, they certainly should. I mean, the Territory's at the end of their season. They've got a bit of fitness, and it'll be pretty warm out there in the 3rd and 4th quarters.
Dennis Knight, prolific kick winner.
Yeah, they'll be looking to him, relying on him heavily in midfield. Give them drive.
Swings it to the wing. Hicks waiting behind should it spill. Brought to ground by Sasha Dyson Holland. Comes out to Williams. Bangs it high. It'll come straight back. Or maybe Smith will get there. Oh, that was brave play. The Northern Territory player backing into the pack there was Jason Jones. And he wouldn't have known what was coming down on him, Kev.
He certainly would have heard a few footsteps, and it was a pretty good effort to hold his ground there.
He's hurt too. Now, Knight, he's caught. Good tackle, looked like Perry, is it?
Yep.
The tackle on Knight, and he's rewarded with that free kick on centre wing. Out of side. Leading short was McGann. He's ignored. Goes long. Oh, up high was it done?
Adrian Collard.
Now, the VFA Livingston back from Richmond clears out. Out of bounds to the boundary side. There's Kiranua.
Tremendous sense of anticipation that Ross when the Territorians gained possession, because I guess their handling skills, and both by foot and hand, have become so legendary that you always expect that miraculous.
A couple of problems early for the VFA, Sam. Sean Smith, their only goal scorer, has just had to leave the ground holding his forearm, and he's been replaced back on the ground by Alessio.
Well, that was in trying to make a contest with Jones, and they've both come off with some sort of injury. Good use of the body up there by the Territory, but it's swept away by back pocket for the VFA. Ghazi trying to get clear out in the Lennox direction. Good talking from the VFA, and Darren Saunders away, but couldn't find Cine out in the full.
Yeah, he should have done better. I know it's early doors, but they're just mistakes that we just can't afford.
Kevin, some of the NTFL officials, who we got there?
Tony Shaw on the right-hand side, the president. Not the same Tony
Good
Shaw.
name here at Collingwood.
Yeah, not wrong. And Keith Krager also there in shot as well. One of our politicians,
Great
Steve
mark.
Hatton. 17-year-old Robbie Armatt here with the mark. One of the quickest footballers you'll ever see.
Great one-hander.
A lot of league scouts have
Thumps it right into the
him.
square. Back goes Edwards, gets a hand on it. And another minor score for the Territory. There's Ghazi in the foreground with Normington, and Barlow about to go short to Sadi Ghazi. He's got a lead from Clarkson. He chooses to go short in front of Armatt. Away he goes, the Sandringham winger. Long. Athanasia with a fist away. And another good fist away by McLeod for the Territory.
Giving away a lot of inches, Athanasia at centre half back, but he's done that in every representative game that he's played for the NT, 15 of them, and he's been in the Territory's best six players on every one of those occasions.
Number 18 we saw was Jason Cockatoo. There's good evasion skills from Scott Chisholm.
An excellent vision.
Lovely vision. Robbie Armatt. Right down the spine. Should have gone long, I think. Oh, lovely pickup. Sweeping in was Andrew McLeod. Now, he's one that we've been told to watch out for. Another teenager, and just not making the most of their opportunities at the moment, the Territory.
A lot of nerves out there, I think, Peter. There really is. And Andrew McLeod, yeah, he has got a big future, playing for Port Adelaide this coming season in the SANFL.
Be a tired boy by the end of it after playing all summer. Bowden marks. Sean Bowden. And they're going short again, the VFA. Clarkson loose, half back. He's called a play on by umpire man. Back to Bowden, switching play. Oh, he kicked it towards Cine. Over the head of Rioli. Cine, pace. Now could be in trouble. Kiranua bearing down. Bit of a fumble there by Livingston. And, well, if you're sitting out there, you'd see a lot of the action.
Didn't get a lot of support, did he? The VFA player then. I thought his teammate about 5 yards away could have helped a bit more.
Now, Jones in ruck number 21 against Williams. Taken away by West. Getting a lot of work to do, Bowden. Williams couldn't grab it. Saunders is showing out in the early going. He's from Collingwood, should know this ground pretty well. Gang tackle on Stanislaus, but he got rid of the ball. West shoots it forward. Well met by Edwards. Got some support from Lennox. And now Normington, the back pocket. Uses the ball well, and here's Ashley Hicks, the half-forward flanker, up on centre wing.
Now, Hicks's target in the front was, I know, and they're really Knight waiting. Perry, good at taking a hand pass. Jones whips out the hand pass. There's Cockatoo, gets back onto his right foot, up into the pocket. Edwards in front. Roving nicely, Lennox. Flips out the hand pass. Livingston, a daisy cutter. Cine, not paid, must have bounced just in front of him. And Perry comes in to lend support for the Northern Territory.
Collard in that battle in the forward line there, again playing from behind. He's going to have to change that.
Well, Cine got the free kick in the end. There's a ball knocked down by Athanasiou. Charging forward to Shoering. West knew that he was hot, didn't take possession. That was clever play. Tapped it out to Marty Christensen. And there's a free kick for the Territory in the back of Shane Shearing against Paul Williams.
They really do back their skills in, don't they, Kevin? At times when they should be probably a little bit more play the percentages, they still endeavour to do the impossible at times and the turnover results.
Yeah, I think it's almost a sense of occasion out there. A few players know there's a lot of talent scouts watching today, and maybe they're just trying to do too much.
Eames kicks forward, McDonald caught at the back. Jeffrey came in charging through the hand pass, was intercepted, paddled forward. But now the Territory through Chisholm. Steadies back on the right foot, found a man clear in McLeod. Long kick, pretty high, looking for Dunn. Back there is Edwards, over the top comes Barlow.
Again, Collard caught behind in that pack.
Well, the back pockets, Edwards and Normington doing a great job for the VFA. They've been constantly under pressure, and there's Darren Saunders taking it over the boundary line. He's seen plenty of the ball as well. We just saw John Taylor in the background a moment or two ago. That's Armat there for the Territory. Again, the VFA have the numbers. Lennox looks one way, handballs the other. Not such a good kick from Edwards. Stanislaus. They've got the man on the overlap. Athanasiou to the pocket. Hoping he had the distance on the kick. Livingston knocks it through for a behind. So all minor scores so far for the NTFL. They're down by 3 points.
Pretty good effort by Athanasiou. He's backed himself there to come all the way down from centre half back and make himself available for the hand pass.
The target is Williams, 30. Oh, too strong over the top of McGann. Poor Williams from Frankston. He goes wide, looking for Bowden, but first there was Shane Shearing. And Jones coming in to do the ruck work. There's a shot of what the Rover sees. Up goes Paul Williams against Jones. Shark by McLeod. He's showing out early on. Is McLeod. Then Jones, then Stanislaus. Into West, centering kick. Didn't leave the boot too well, made it hard for the forwards. Oh, Lennox, that was a throw, definitely. We all saw that one. Now done from the pocket. And back goes Normington.
Bit unlucky done there, and he could have expected to get a bit of an off break on that, but kept going straight.
Moments like those you need Peter Dacos, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's Dennis Dunn.
Delivery into the forward line, Sam, it really lets down the Territory in this first 5 or 10
thinking that
minutes.
Kevin doing well around the packs and across midfield, but your entry into the forward line leaves a little bit to be desired at the moment.
Normington breaks from the huddle, and Barlow finds him. Hicks met that at full place, kept it down for Scurra, his teammate. Sinny's got 2 to beat. Sinny couldn't tap it on to advantage. Bounces up for Kerenua. Oh, lovely use of the ball there. Just couldn't pull it in, Adrian Collard. But Kerenua got plenty of distance with that pass and over the top of the VFA men. Disappointed Collard not to have hauled that in, I think.
It's a pretty ordinary effort, actually. He's only gone with it with one hand, and
kick was perfect.
He just looks a bit down on form at the moment, Popsy Collard.
Williams rucking this time against Peter McGann. Ball for Chris Wall. Centering kick was a good one. Stanislaus. Oh, nice play from Justin Clarkson. Gets tangled up with Bowden. Stanislaus knocks the ball out. Perry, good battling against the odds. Met solidly by Anthony Eames. Knight's handball. Livingston clears it to the wing, but not for long. McLeod. Again, not a good kick into the forward line. Again, Collard can only go at it with one hand. Norwington had support from Barlow. The VFA can't really get past centre wing though. Scurra back to Livingston. Hicks is free. 50.
Shearing was the culprit there. A soft one, but should have held his ground.
I think from memory, Ross, it's about the second time they've entered their forward line. One was that initial goal they scored.
And a 50-metre played a big part in that being a goal.
So Hicks will kick from about the 50-metre line. The man on the mark, Shearing, is about at the 40-metre mark. Very slight breeze behind him, Sam. And Hicks is just away to the right.
Yeah, a bit rusty early doors, as we well know. Ashley Hicks, a most reliable kick for goal. But on that occasion, just adrift.
Jason Cockatoo starting in the back pocket today, but may finish up further up the ground, I think you'll find.
Williams taps down, hoping Eames would run onto it. That's him, number 9, with Knight. Tried to find Cini. Stanislaus, good shepherd. Wall. Had to kick it blindly, and there's Tim Livingston. Williams can thump the ball a long way.
Doing well too, the big man.
Yeah. Had a terrific year last year for Frankston. Nice kick, Dyson Holland. Couldn't hold it. Anastasiou into the middle to West. And here he goes, Amat. He's clear. Williams won't catch him. Can he cap it off? Oh, he's gone too far.
Pretty tough one, really. I
Yeah.
thought. Sam?
Yeah, it was a marginal one, but the umpire deemed it as just running a little too far.
He runs a fair. He's a pretty quick runner, Robbie Armat. He's probably covered a fair bit of ground there.
You just see him try to steady up here to get the kick. The bounce wasn't so good, was it? And he took a long time to steady, and the kick in the end wasn't very good. It wouldn't have been a goal.
I think the umpire's read it right after looking at the replay.
To see him reformed over the summer, Sam.
He was ready to bag the umpire until he saw the replay.
Karanua was flying
I didn't realise just how much ground he does cover so quickly.
off the ground. Rioli, a little chip into Christensen. Oh, nice hand pass to West on the left foot. Where's Dunn over his head? Bit of holding by Dunn against Barlow. Now Perry on the left foot. Gee, not a bad effort. Just wide.
Just struggling. Sorry, Peter.
I was just going to say, Sam, of the, what have we had, 17 and a half minutes of play, I'd say the NTFL would have had 15 minutes of it.
They've certainly monopolised possession, there's no doubt about that, but unfortunately just can't convert on the scoreboard. And they're really falling down badly at full forward. I mean, they're very conscious of Dunn, aren't they, Kevin, up there?
Certainly are, and Dennis is doing the right things. He's leading to the right places, but the delivery has been too long for him. And on the occasions that the delivery has been pretty good to the forward pocket Collard, he's been a bit lacklustre in his efforts.
West's kick. They want to keep it away from Williams if they can. The big fella dominating, dropping back there on half back.
Tremendous. He's such a mobile big man too, Peter.
He can kick it a long way. He kicked it too long that far, and it's Willie Rioli that takes it over.
Fiddling about a lot, the VFA, Sam, aren't they?
Well, they are,
Most of the
Ross.
ball.
But, you know, in their defence, they are a bit rusty. They've only come together a couple of weeks. They've been depleted by injury. We all know that, but by the same token, they are extremely keen to win. I want to elaborate on a certain point with you, Kevin, that we spoke about off-air shortly, when there's a lull in proceedings.
That's a question with notice, Kevin. So
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sam.
And my next one will be without notice.
Shearing goes forward for the territory. There's Dunn. He's being bustled by Paul Barlow.
And that was a comment you made off air earlier about the burn that the Darwin experienced in 88, and just recently now with the victory over Collingwood and the new $6 million stand. The VFA are tremendously keen to win today because they've had some bad press over the summer. The financial vulnerability of a number of clubs have been exposed, and there's been a bit of a changing of the guard at the administration level, so they really need a big oomph to start the season off, and today's the sort of thing they're looking forward to.
Well, I think Sam's answered your question.
Yeah.
There, so.
Well, President Tony Hatterbury said to me the other day that they really don't know how their future stands, and a game like this today for the VFA is a very, very important one.
Gives a great injection.
Cini's kick. Ghazi. Unselfishly to McDonald. Hicks was there just in case, but Donald McDonald makes no mistake. So the VFA have gone forward 3 times and got 2 goals out of it. The NTFL have had all the rest of the forward thrusts and have kicked 6 behind.
Sam, do you think if Donald McDonald hand passed to Ashley Hickey might have dropped it? Watch it again.
That's a good passage of play. Ghazi, well, we all know Ghazi's work around the forward pocket are legendary. He's extremely, his explosive pace and great vision, and spotted Donald in the right place. And isn't it ironic in football? You know, a side just dictates the play for 90% and can't put a score on the board, and the opposition goes bang and kicks a couple.
Ghazi to Williams, off the outside of the left boot. Oh, through the hands of Chisholm. Hit a forward pocket. Off the ground by
Kevin, how
Hicks.
Roscoe, Kevin, how does this game rate in terms of physical contest? Are they subject to this sort of physical endeavour?
I was going
at
to
Darwin?
say it's been a bit soft so far.
Has it?
This first game, I mean, the tackling in our final series was red hot.
I just feel that, you know, that might have been the factor so far that's keeping the VFA in the game there. Being so hard and aggressive at the ball, and some of the tackling, you know, I don't know whether it's been a 2-week layoff that the Darwin boys have had, but I think it's having a bit of an effect on you guys.
I think there's a lot of nerves out there, and players who really should be doing a lot more with the ball are just taking that little extra half a second, and that's a long time in football.
Marty Christensen, former Geelong player, who really enjoyed his year up in the Territory, played in a premiership with St Mary's, but it's all the VFA on half-back. Kicked across to Livingston by Dallas Normington.
That's good play.
Plenty of loose men. This is Clarkson. He can go over the top to Bowden.
Yep.
He better be quick.
He just got it away. Armat was bearing down on him. Cockatoo had the chance to spoil. Good tackle on Cine. This is a bit more like it. Putting their bodies in now, and that's McLeod spinning out of trouble. Running onto it was Shane Shoering. Decided to go on his own. This is where they've fallen down at half forward, the Territory. What can they make of this one? Stanislaus, well, he got it sort of clear. Perry couldn't. And well wrapped up by Normington.
I think Coach John Taylor might have to start thinking about doing something with the centre half forward position. Maybe put McGann on the bench for a while and bring on one of his interchange players. Someone like Kevin Quole, who can play centre half forward.
Notice Smith's back on the ground for the VFA. Knight kicks in. Dyson Holland misses a half volley. Chisholm on the end of that hand pass. West.
Who can, by the way, kick the ball 60 plus metres, so half a chance from here.
Yeah, there's the 50-metre line, so a 50-50 chance, says Kevin Norton. For their first goal, penetrating kick over the head of Ghazi. Very slight breeze into which he's kicking. And up goes Dunn. Now, McGann. There's the reliable Edwards. Trying to pick it up, Collard. Took his eye off it, you could see that clearly. Thrown out by Normington to Livingston. Had a lot of touches back to Edwards, who's been good. And marked by Cine on centre wing. Half-back flank, rather.
Doing well, Cine, too, giving us some contest up there.
Hoist that one high. Knocked away from Dyson Holland. Now this is Kerenua. Another chance for West. That was Saunders putting his body in. Well, could have been a high tackle on Stanislaus.
No, he prematurely went to the ground there. It was well umpired. He was half far looking for the free then. But I just hope the VFA have the fitness to sustain this effort. As I said, it is an energy-sapping day out there today. Conditions, very warm.
Well, a few players like autumn leaves at the moment. Tap out to Rioli. I thought that was a goal post. In fact, it's the post that holds up the catch netting behind the goals.
I was going to say, it must be a different game down here with 5 goal posts.
Yeah.
We'll do anything to win a game up here, Kevin, you know that.
Edwards kicks in, looking for Williams. Jones the flyer. Eames's kick. Well read by Hicks as it came through Dyson Holland's hands. No, this is Eames up here on half forward.
It was a poor option then. I think I should have gone long on that occasion.
Shearing wide to Jeffrey. Out in front of Stanislaus. Plenty of space. Little chip kick. And finding Wall. He's at half forward. 70 metres from goal. Done a good lead.
Beautiful lead that into the vacant space at the centre half forward region, and terrific delivery from Wall.
And a great passage of play, Kevin. I think we mentioned in our preview that was the marked contrast of playing styles of the two sides. The pace and the use of the ball by Territorians as opposed to the closer, tougher play on the VFA. Ooh, what a conversion.
Yes, and the first goal on the board after about 24 minutes. Well, right on quarter time from Dennis Dunn.
Well, we're paying 20-minute quarters plus time on here, and that one hardly even got into what used to be time on, 25 minutes plus. So, well, it's good to see that the Territory did get some value for that domination, Kevin, there with a goal from Dennis Dunn.
Yeah, and a very, very important goal it was too. It just something to settle the team down. They're now not sort of behind at quarter time, and I think the best part about it was that Dennis Dunn was leading into the right space, the forward line was open, and there was good delivery to him.
Captain Russell Jeffrey, he started it from full-back, running off his man, and the ball was delivered to him, and really it was then all the Territory right through to full forward.
Yeah, and they had plenty of space as they moved down the ground. They were sort of 15, 20 metres clear of each of their opponents, and But mind you, I think that they do have some problems at the moment in the forward line. John Taylor's got to have a good long chat to Popsy Collard and say, listen, you've got about 10-15 minutes, lift your game or come off.
Yes, he either looked troubled with some sort of injury. He wasn't going at it 100%, but it's quarter time here in this special representative game between the VFA and the NTFL, and scores are level, 12 points apiece. Goal kickers for the VFA, Sean Smith and Donald McDonald. For the NTFL, they're a lone goal kicker. They're full forward Dennis Dunn. It's level at quarter time at Victoria Park.
Territory footy from the vault is thanks to these valued partners.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision.
The time to kickstart your business is now. Get your message across with the experienced local TV production team at Kick Digital. Cost effective, rapid turnaround, exceptional service. Kick Digital, television production, energised.
Thanks, Karen. And there's the scoreboard. Of course, up in the Territory. Today is the first day of the cricket season, so it's not such a big jump for people up there.
It's all quite normal, it seems to me. And also up there, just before the bounce of the ball, the bookmakers up there had the Territory 6-4 and the VFA 2's on. Apparently, a punter from down in Melbourne had a quick couple of thousand on the VFA. And someone said it was Sam Kekovich's daily pay from the ABC.
Yeah, would have pearled the entire staff.
Second quarter underway. Ross Booth, have you gleaned anything, any moves?
Yes, two changes by the VFA. Brendan Moore into the centre and Steve Cochran on to Rove. Eames off. And Paul Scurra. Run, said John Taylor for the Northern Territory, and Trevor Barker giving the ball away. Must pinpoint the man with the pass.
John Taylor's made no changes at all out there from the first quarter lineup.
Showing some faith in his men. That's very much his style as it comes out to Jeffrey. West, he's got blue Guernseys all around him. Has to use Jeffrey again. He's got nowhere to go. Forward, that is. Now for McGann. And that might give him some confidence, but he's well out from centre-half forward. He's backwards of the wing. Sinny's got Bowden there. Shovels the ball back. And he couldn't find Cochran. Instead, it was Keranua. Nice kick. And directly in front, Dennis Dunn. He'll make the distance. Sometimes he's not the most accurate kick in the world, but he was accurate up to the Sharon stand end. Let's see if he can... score to the Dites Falls end. Wrong side. So they're in front though.
Yes. Marvellous, what a difference. Good ball disposal into the forward line, mate.
Yeah, and I just can't help but feeling the amount of times the amount of handling mistakes the VFA are making, and it's just a bit rusty and taking a while to settle down. And
there's John Taylor in the middle of the picture there, and he said for me, if I could, to say hello to his kids, Melinda and Luke, watching up in Darwin. So hello, Melinda and Luke. Dad's thinking of you, but I think he's having a good time in Melbourne.
He certainly is. Actually, Melinda's one of the best left foot hand passes I've ever seen too, by the way.
A left foot hand pass. I'd love to see that. Kicked in by Barlow. Keranua. He knew he was going to be out-muscled there. Easy mark for Lennox. Kick forward from Bowden. The mark will be paid. Tyson Holland gets it back from Ghazi. Well, it's 3-2 in favour of the Territory here in the back pocket. Used the ball well. Here's McLeod. Jones. If you can get it through to Christensen, they're away, the Northern Territory, and they are. Marty Christensen can draw a man. They've had the loose man right from the back pocket here, the NTFL. Armat's kick, looking for Dunn. Yes! I don't know whether it was exactly the way they wanted it to pan out, but Dunn stopped.
Magnificent
and his
judgment,
opponents just all went forward, and he took the plum that was offered.
Well, I'd say there'd be an area of a margin of some flukish content there, but having seen him against Collingwood, I'm telling you that this guy can play.
Well, it's the identical position he missed from a minute ago. He won't make the distance this time, and Williams can play on with it. That's an opportunity missed. That's been the story so far in this VFA NTFL game. Paul Williams kicks it to Jones. Jason Jones from the Darwin Football Club, beaten grand finalists in the NTFL this season. Knocked down towards Armat, but taken off him a little bit too easily there by Bowden. He's been one of the VFA's good players. Dennis Knight. Early lead was made there by Smith. Kick over his head, and it's Jeffrey. Oh, nice vision. He spotted Stanislaus at the last second.
He did, Peter.
Now, Dunn has led underneath the ball, so Stanislaus to within 55 metres of goal. He's giving Collard a bit of a run here against the other number 2 in Saunders. Normington doesn't really clear it. Edwards handball across, and the kick's out on the full. No. Yes.
Gee, they set the play up magnificently, Kevin, don't they, in midfield and to half forward, and then all of a sudden, for some inexplicable reason, they seem to panic and try to look for a pinpointed target when perhaps they're better served just kicking it along to the square.
See, I was a bit surprised there that Stanislaus didn't let go with one of his long kicks, because he's a beautiful kick of the ball, and he was only, what, about 45 out when he went for the chip part.
Well, boundary umpire said it did bounce over, but the Territory have got it anyway. This is West. Again looking for Dunn. Oh, it's come through to Rioli. Oh, good defence from the VFA. Livingston was the man. He got in the way of Barlow. Oh, it's gone straight to McGann. He's put the goal through. Well, that one a little bit lucky, but, well, he hasn't had the best of days, Peter McGann, so far, so he'll take it. And they skip away to a 7-point lead, the NTFL.
Well, it's a comedy of errors there on that occasion. The VFA have got no one to blame but themselves. A couple of indiscriminate kicks, and found their way, here we saw her on screen, to the waiting arms of McGann. I think he got a bigger shock than anyone. The ball came his way because the VFA were heading the other way, but the kick went off the side of the boot and he just accepted it. The VFA's benevolence, at times we are like that, Kevin, to our interstate visitors.
Pretty handy effort by Peter McGann. I've got to be nice to him. He's the paymaster at the ABC.
Yes, he said that, administrator. Now West doing pretty well. Into the pocket. Oh, free kick not paid. Yes, it is to Collard. He was held by Edwards. Dropped the mark and then was scragged.
West has had about 10 possessions so far in this game, and he's causing a lot of headaches for the VFA.
Yeah, he's killed us in midfield. There's no doubt about that. Kevin, his pace is really a concern. And one of my great fears before the game, when this, this Indian Summers, which has been with us for 3 weeks, is the likes of Ghazi and Knight. They will struggle as the game wears on for pace.
Collard. Well, the goalkeeper looks as if he likes that one. They skip away now to 13 points to Territory. That goal through Adrian Collard and Sam. Trevor Barker must feel likewise, because he's made those changes in the centre and ruck roving too.
Well, they're the key issues. We mentioned, I don't know whether you heard the preview, Ross, you were downstairs, but my great fear,
free kick, Sam?
Free goal, without a doubt, Peter. You know, the umpires, they've done a superb job here so far. It's not very often that we do give them a pat on the back, but they haven't missed a thing. But you're right, Ross, that the pace, and I guess when they go wide, we really are exposed. Their pace has become a pronounced weapon. We seem to be lamenting in the background all by the same token. It helps when you get the ball, and we're just not getting enough of it at the moment.
Jones won the tap. Lennox. Kick off the ground. Bowden was getting rid of it before he had it. That was Perry that swooped on the ball. Now Cini. Couldn't catch his opponent. And here's Collard. Comes off to Brendan Moore, who's come on since quarter time. He was one of the changes that Ross Booth mentioned. Dennis Knight. They're relying a lot on the big fella, Paul Williams.
Looking out there for Clarkson, over the back, Hicks. Got away now, he's one of the quickest players in the VFA. Nice little chip kick. Out comes McDonald.
That was intelligent play, Ross, wasn't it? We know of Hicks when he does weave his bit of magic and wizardry, but on that occasion at times he's had a propensity previously to just blast away, but that was intelligent play. That's entering the ball to his full forward in Donald McDonald.
And his captain. Nice looking kick off the boot. 3 goals straight out of the VFA, and 2 to Donald McDonald.
Yes, well, he hasn't been called upon to do a great deal. I guess that tussle down there with Jeffries has been a good one. Jeffries has run off him a number of occasions and featured prominently in attacking moves. But there we see on screen, Ross, you're correctly alluding to the highlights. I'm a bit rusty my first day back at work. I haven't got the sequence right yet, but with your prompting, I'm sure by about 3:30, Ross, I'll be on the ball. Kevin, that is a good tussle up there, isn't it?
It is, and actually a very good goal there by Don McDonald, because the door was starting to shut a bit for the VFA. They were just dropping off.
Christensen got the ball across to Jones. Open forward line for the Territorians. Well,
pretty harsh call, I thought.
A few shovels that haven't been called. Yeah. That one was.
His hand was being held. He wasn't fully in control. That was a hard one.
Saunders handball. Simon Clark onto the ground. Gets the handball across to Lennox, who puts in the high tackle.
Just marginally aloft.
Stanislaus to Dunn. Oh, it bucks it.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know whether you guys saw the game against Collingwood. I did. Well, he took some of the best marks I've seen in a long, long while with monotonous regularity. And I think Craig Kelly was absolutely ecstatic when that final bell rang.
That was sheer athleticism.
It was.
Got him above Barlow, who looked to have him covered.
Kicked more goals than any other player in first or second division in the 88 Bicentennial Carnival, Dennis Dunn.
And he's got 2 here today so far.
Yes, he's found the target this time. Kevin, he's never been, he never contemplated a career down south?
A couple of weeks he might have, you know. He's been down and played a bit of VFA. I think he had 4 games, kicked 40 goals. And he also had a run, I think, with South Adelaide in the SANFL.
Do you know who he played with in the VFA?
No, not sure. Actually, we were trying to work it out yesterday, and I meant to ask Dennis this morning at breakfast, but...
I'm sure the administration of the respective club would like to be reminded of us.
Sam, you were talking earlier about tackling. It seems to me that the NT is out-tackling the VFA at the moment, and that's really what one of the VFA's strong weapons would have been.
Well, that's a good observation, Kevin. I'm glad I led you into it and you picked up on it. I didn't really want to be reminded of that.
Gentlemen, is tackling one of the things that doesn't really come early on in the season? Is it one of the skills that, you know, talk about fitness, but tackling sometimes takes a while to get back into the groove.
Takes a while to get back into the groove. You're right, Peter.
Bad kicking too, as Barker pointed out, the coach, because Lennox gave the ball away. Now the Northern Territory have the ball in half forward. Drew Christensen. Lead from Dunn into the pocket. Lot of lovely kick. Oh, well done, Christensen, and a fine lead into space as Howe comes on for the Territory.
Well, he's got a bit of a field day, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, it's quite clear why they'd be looking for him, because he has got ball. He's got a good turn of pace for a big man. He does stand about 6'4", doesn't he, Kevin?
Yep, not bad for 30 years of age either.
30. I'd like to see his birth certificate.
He's off the direction here, but won't get the distance. Now chance. Wall. Oh, nice dummy. Not clear from Clark. And the VFA have the numbers to force a throw in.
Now, Collard's limping there, I noticed, in the forward pocket, and he made no attempt to help Wall out with the shepherd or anything either. I think they've got to find the bullet in here and get him off.
Well, they've taken Peter McGann off, and actually it might have worked in their favour, because he was being taken towards the boundary line, and up on half-back, he was the one that started that move that got it up forward, and then he just continued on over the fence, having got a possession. A mark and
into attack again here, Pete. The Territorians, indiscriminate kick out of bounds in the fall.
Now, it's Devon Perry that's got the free kick. He is a left-footer.
Cool.
Jones will leap. Got his hands to it. But the VFA really have had probably 4 forward pushes, as we see John Taylor, the coach of the NTFL. He'd be a little bit disappointed they're not further ahead on the scoreboard. The VFA have kicked 3 goals out of those few times they've been in attack. The NTFL have had 12 scoring shots to 3.
Yes, Pete, and discipline wouldn't be a problem with John Taylor, Kevin, with his charges?
Not at all. If you muck around with KJ in charge, you soon find out about it.
Over the top from Bowden to Hicks to Sinney, chased by Kerenua. Well, that's an up and under. Williams, a nice paddle. No, it wasn't so good. Leave it behind was Chisholm. Up to Rioli in front of Livingston. Rioli, well, he's looking for Collard. Didn't attack that very well. Clark, the hand pass to Normington. Oh, I think it was a bit lucky. He did into Ghazi. Maybe I was a bit critical. Oh. Well, Trevor Barker will be ripping the hair out after that. Again, poor delivery, just giving the ball away into the spaces.
I think we'll see a lot more of this as the game progresses. NTFL players on their own. Kick forward from Shoering. Clever knock on there by Collard. Swooping on at Stanislaus. He'll get the shepherd from Jones and then loses his feet. Wants a trip.
It was his own man.
Yeah, Jones tripped him.
Tripped over Jason Jones.
Exactly.
And there was...
You look good in white sand with those pink fluoro armbands.
Clark picked it up and gave it to Sinney.
Oh,
now it's 3 against 1 here. Williams asked to do a lot. Bowden comes in.
Oh.
That's Howe, who's come on from interchange, knocking the ball towards the boundary line. Knight. Battling on well as Bowden. That is a throw.
Oh, I tell you, well picked up by the umpire, eh?
Cochrane's kick is a beauty.
Clarkson.
Cochrane's kept running.
Oh,
it has it pinched away from him. And here's Howe. Got the call from a player behind. It's Cockatoo. Well, West was pointing where the ball should go. He took the mark and kicks it towards the water girl. No, Dunn it is. She just got out of the way in time for Dennis Dunn on the fast lead.
Gee, on that occasion there, Peter, in midfield, there were 4 Territorians, not 1 VFA player.
Dunn does get under them, but that one's got the distance. He's got his 3rd goal, 2 in this term. And they're starting to skip away now. The NTFL leading this game by 24, I think it is.
he's too fast for Barlow, Sam. I think Lennox would be better suited.
Well, yes, although I'm prepared to not vilify Barlow at this early stage of proceedings. I think the problem lies further afield, Ross, in particular around the packs, Ghazi and Knight, and our midfield is certainly not functioning up to par, and that's where the breaks are coming. And of course, he's always leading, and it's very easy when the ball's delivered to you in the manner in which it has, or the ball.
The VFA forwards, Sam, not chasing their backs when they go up the ground, and as a result, the Territory's full back line and half back line is coming out of numbers.
Yes.
Sydney got one high, will take the kick.
Oh, I didn't think there was a great deal. I thought it was a pretty fair hip and shoulder, that.
Oh, well, you can't hit them in the head, Sam. That's where he got it.
Well, it's quite a pronounced proboscis that Michael has.
What do you think about that?
No, I thought it was a pretty fair bump, actually.
Devon Perry it was.
But you do have got that amateur football background, Roscoe.
Bit above the shoulder, that's all.
Above the shoulder now.
Now, in attack, the VFA. Back and board, McDonald looking for Williams. He went before he had it. Good effort by Shoering. Chips it wide, out to Perry. And hold up play because there's no one to kick to just at the moment.
It's far too easy. They just got out of defence far too easy. You're right, Kevin.
Well, there were 5 tackles applied there by the Northern Territory defence, and in the end, they got a possession turnover.
Hicks will get a free. He hand passed away and then was tackled. Sydney on his inside. Knight short. Very congested forward line for the VFA.
Pretty static too. No one moving.
Williams made a lead, but he was covered. Hicks is waiting. Ghazi going short. Hicks indicating he's going to bomb it long to McDonald. Donald's in front. The spoil. Ghazi riding. Snap. Just wide.
First behind on the board for the VFA.
At least it was a bit promising. At least they were at the base of the pack and something did happen. Just no system or no cohesion at the moment. The VFA being completely outplayed.
Cockatoo.
Stanislaus, I noticed there, is on the ball. He's changing with West off a half-forward flank, but West's instructions were to spend a fair bit of time on the ball, but I noticed now that Stanislaus having a bit of a field day too with the freedom.
Good running off the back line from Cockatoo. Here's West. Going for Dunn again. Barlow rests on him.
Oh, gee whiz.
Now Barlow will try and shepherd off Dunn. And it's Tim Livingston. Oh, Rioli nearly stole it. Livingston gets it back and finds Sinney. He's their avenue into attack, Michael Sinney, up on this members' wing. There's a free kick going to Ghazi.
Been working very hard, Sinney has.
Free kick against McLeod.
Space is a lead from Hicks. Goes the other way. Smith couldn't mark. More at the fall of the ball. Hand pass. Clarkson. He's tackled well. Back comes Cockatoo. And now the Territory running onto it.
Oh dear.
Couldn't gather it with Stanislaus. Off the ground by Moore. The chase is on. I think the boundary line will win. We're at halfway, 17 minutes of the lapse time. Bit over halfway through the second quarter.
Yes, it's 20 minutes plus time on in this match. 4 interchange players used. So, and I think in these hot conditions,
they'll all get a run.
Interchange steward's going to be needing some more ink in his pen by the end of the match, I think. Saunders couldn't take it with him. Now Christensen, and met well by Normington.
Christensen starting to have a bit of an effect from the centre of the ground.
Just looking at your side, Kevin, you seem to have about 10 or 12 players that could fall into that ruck rover role. You know, all that similar mould, aren't they?
Yeah, and probably giving away on average about 3 or 4 inches or 10 centimetres. Steve Turner there warning up on the boundary line. So I'm a little bit surprised that the Territory are now starting to outmark the VFA.
Up to half forward. Ghazi chasing. Underground hand pass from Jeffrey. No in the back. Who was caught then? McDonald goes to ground. Ghazi in space. Oh, Kerenil got him. Good bump by Shearing. Knight. Sinney from McDonald. No one home for the VFA.
The VFA are the team now that's having to look sideways because they're being met very solidly as McLeod kicks the ball out to Perry. He can play on. A lot of spring in their step at the moment, the NTFL. Rioli against, as we see, Armat's the player gone off to let Turner on. A trip there. Livingston plays on, gives it to Cochrane. Nice kick. Oh, intercepting Cockatoo, but it's ended up with Hicks. The Port Melbourne goal sneak. Can't swing that one through. And it's taken over for a throw-in.
He could have done better, actually, Hicks, on that occasion. Had the time, and normally one of his strengths is his ability to convert every opportunity. There have been few incoming today.
A few interchanges being made by the Territory. Rioli coming off. There's a VFA in attack. Dennis Knight. Back to Bowden. To Knight again. Screwing it in front of goals. Up goes McDonald. Ghazi roves, twists, quick hands, but intercepted, and the Territory will clear through Jeffrey, the captain. Underneath it, Perry. Livingston at the back, a double-fisted spoil. Looking for Clarkson. In goes Paul Williams. Off the ground by
Mick Athanasia.
Yes, it was Athanasia, or Athanasiou, if you like the other pronunciation.
Actually, I've heard about 5 pronunciations, even from Territory people today. So I heard he was from Asio once, Athanasio. But anyway, it's the kick in from West, within 60 metres of the Territory goal. And there's Edwards getting the ball to Normington. They've had some work to do, those two. It's going to come back pretty quickly. They've got a man up. Stanislaus. Dunsy's target. Barlow shields the sun out of his eyes. Gets front position. Good play from the fullback.
Yep. Here's a chance.
And win those every time if it's kicked like that. Cochrane. And Saunders. Not much of a kick for a forward. Over the head of Williams. Pushed off the ball was Howe. Good work by West. Stanislaus, 60 metres from goal. The goal's unmarked. Ginny kicked the distance too. Well spotted. Nice finish.
Exactly what he should have done in the first quarter when he hesitated. And Sam, that's a good indication, I think, that they've now starting to build their confidence. Stanislaus was sort of 50-plus metres out, and he's decided, I can kick at 60, I'll have a go.
Yeah, but the more I look at the game, Kevin, the more I'm convinced that fitness is becoming such a factor. On that occasion, for argument's sake, Darren Saunders, I thought the VFA in defence did a terrific job. Barlow got it across to Saunders, who had acres of ground in his own. He could have run the ball, but opted to centre the ball, and it was intercepted. The turnover, and Stanislaus just waltzed in and
he's a little bit crook goal. Physio was out there with Brian Stanislaus. The physio, in fact, from Geelong, Vanessa Calvert. He's helped us out today.
25-point leaders are the NTFL. McLeod bombing the ball forward.
Ooh.
Yes, that's a mark. Plucked by Wall. and he should steady and go for goal. No, passes to Dunn. Well, he knew better than I did. Dennis Dunn on a lead, pretty hard to stop.
Been some classical patches, and the VFA really have done very little to...
Robbie Armett's been brought off the ground, I notice.
Yes, taken off earlier. And
Eddie Cavillo's been brought on to replace him.
Now, going for his third in the quarter, Dunn. No mistake.
Well, he just killed us there. And not only that, but the VFA have done very little to block that corridor off. And the midfielders, in particular, the Ruck Rovers, that are blamed there. You know, there's just too big an opening up midfield. Dunn's been... No one's even attempted to cut off the lead there. He's had all the space in the world to run into. And there was a fine mark there too. And here's Dunn. After a couple of touchy shots for goal early, he's certainly found the range and the accuracy now.
4 goals to Dennis Dunn. There's his man, Paul Barlow. I guess he might be prefer to play on Jack as is, the way things are going. This rate, Dennis Dunn will kick 8 goals.
Do you want to repeat that, Ross?
In terms of getting a whipping.
We might fill in our territory viewers to that. The VFA Grand Final was a torrid affair between Port Melbourne and Werribee, and Paul Barlow was playing for Port Melbourne at that stage at fullback, and he was decked very early on. There's a little cap there, good to see. We need all the spoilers we can get, but Barlow decked early on. Jack is missing the first 3 weeks of the season because of that indiscretion.
Being brainwashed, that poor child, Peter. I mean, he was born in Darwin last year. It's actually the child of the team runner, Craig Widdowson.
Well, the Widdowson family know their football, obviously.
Who can clear from this big pack of players? A quick hand pass from Jones. Christensen. Edwards. Great first quarter. Bit of a fumble. Wall, a snap, up and under. Racing forward is McLeod. And there, Normington up. Well, umpire says I'll throw it in.
Well, McLeod's a long way from his back pocket, isn't he?
He sure is. Back he goes. Sprints back down the field. And in comes Clark to ruck the VFA against Jones. Clark wins it nicely. Normington. Lucky bounce there into Cochrane's hands. More on his wrong foot. Out to Michael Sinney in front of Kiranua.
Mikey Sydney, a prodigious possession winner in this game. He's looking there for Williams. Good fist away by Anathasiu. Turner. Well caught by...
I hope he doesn't get too many more kicks, Pete.
Justin Clarkson. So do I. Take him off, John Taylor. Now there's Turner. Lovely kick. Mark taken by Eddie Cabillo. That's Livingston coming off worse for wear. Here's Dunn again. Barlow can't get within cue of him when the ball's worked down so well by the Territory, who are moving it quickly, and that's right in
well, as soon as Cabillo had marked that ball, he took off, and he knew where Dennis Dunn would be leading to, and Dennis was already off and away, and the VFA got to be a bit of a wake-up to that scene.
That's his 5th goal, yes. 4 in the term for the St Mary's full forward Dennis Dunn, who's kicked 714 goals in the NTFL, 58 of them in 93-94, and he's having a field day here at Collingwood.
It's like a revised drill practice, isn't it? Midfield to Dunn on a lead, and once again, acres of space to move in. And you're right, Cabillo did very, very well there, and it's an object lesson for any youngster watching the game, what to do when you get possession. Endeavour to get the ball on straight away up forward. And of course, Livingston was manhandling and whatever, but at the appropriate time wasn't paying attention.
37 points to deficit. Boy, do the VFA need a goal. Chipping in was Stanislaus. Steve Turner gets around Williams, looks up, and doesn't deliver well. Straight to Darren Saunders. Nothing much on offer, just chooses to thump it long. Out comes McDonald, won't get there. Cochrane had to fly. Howe was quick for a big man. Out to Turner again. Oh, again, turns it over to Brendan Moore. Over Cochrane's head. Gee, a lot of mistakes being made.
Mick Athanasia is dominating the centre half-back position. He hasn't been outmarked on one occasion. He brings the ball to ground. Players run off him. And the NTFL is able to launch attacks from that half-back line. As soon as they get past the centre, Dennis Dunn starts to lead out, and it really fired in that quarter.
Well, scores were level at quarter time. At half time, it's a 27-point lead to the NTFL, and 4 goals in that quarter kicked for the NTFL by this man, Dennis Dunn, who's got 5 for the match. Brian Stanislaus got a goal in that quarter, as did Peter McGann. So Adrian Collard kicked 1 goal in the first term, so that makes the... is that correct? No, in that quarter Collard got 1, did he? Yes, so we've got 5 for Dunn, 1 for McGann, Stanislaus and Collard, while for the VFA, Donald McDonald has got 2 and Sean Smith has got 1. They've really got to do a lot of soul searching, not a lot of time to get back into the match because that quarter 2 went just over 25 minutes, so some worried players there.
Captain of the NTFL, Russell Jeffrey there, you saw him a couple of seconds ago really telling his players, look, we might be in front a little bit, but I want 100% right throughout this game. John Taylor will deliver the same message because as a football coach, he likes to annihilate sides, and he doesn't like it when he's leading if his players start to go off the boil, and they'll know that, and they'll come out with much the same standard of football in the second half.
Good to see the police horses out here at Victoria Park. They've been banned at AFL Park. Apparently they've got enough manure already out at Waverley and they don't want any more, but no problems here at Victoria Park, and that's one of the great sights of footy.
Yeah, I was about to comment on that, Peter. I think there's certainly room for the horses on the ground. I think it adds to a bit of the colour and the culture of our game. But certainly on the VFA, it's been a bit unimaginative, Ross, hasn't it? I know you're about to depart down the rooms. Whilst you're down there, I don't know what you can tell, Trevor. I'm sure the Brains Trust will be in a quandary themselves, but they've certainly got some soul searching to be done. Just got far too many players down. I think the whole problem revolves, Peter, around that midfield.
37 points down, Sam. I say they can't win it.
Well, the way they're going, there's no doubt they can't win it. Not even in the game. I don't know how they can turn it around with so many players down. They've got to make some wholesale positional changes in an endeavour to get themselves back, but they've just got to get some bite around the packs, and the likes of Ghazi and the Dennis Knights, the prime movers, have to initiate some form of spark.
Certainly have to man up a bit more, Sam. I mean, they really were letting their players get 10 and 15 metres away from them across that half-back line, and when you've got guys like Scotty Chisholm and all that sort of gear doing that, gee whiz, very costly for them.
Kevin Norton, who predicted a 10-goal win to the NTFL before the game, got a bit of a smile on his face at half-time.
Nothing to do with the 10 goals in the VFA gave me a month ago either.
Thanks to Kevin and Sam Kekovich. It's half-time here at Victoria Park. Glorious day in Melbourne. The city away there in the background, and the visitors from the north are really enjoying themselves. 37 points at a half-time. We'll take a break. Be back with the second half shortly.
Territory footy from the vault is thanks to these valued partners.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better, and I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision.
The time to kickstart your business is now. Get your message across with the experienced local TV production team at Kick Digital. Cost effective, rapid turnaround, exceptional service. Kick Digital, television production, energised.
Thanks, Karen. And these are the quarter-by-quarter scores so far in this special representative match between the VFA and the NTFL. It's on a state league basis. It's not state of origin. When the NTFL last played the VFA in 1988 under state of origin rules, the NTFL were comfortable winners. Well, at half-time they look like they might be again. They lead by 37 points, and Dennis Dunn, unstoppable at full forward for the NTFL, Their delivery to him much better in that second quarter. He kicked 4 of his 5 goals then. West, McGann and Stanislaus have got goals for the VFA. Their full forward, Donald McDonald, had about probably 3 kicks for 2 goals, and the other goal coming from the centre-half forward, Sean Smith. But a lot of work for the VFA to do at Victoria Park from now on. With me, Sam Kekovich and Kevin Norton. And, well, Kevin, you're pretty pleased, and it's just more of the same, and you're going to go home with 2 scalps against the VFA in 2 meetings.
Probably a bit of history too, because in the entire history of the Northern Territory Football League, they've never won a representative game on Victorian soil, and today they're in a perfect position to set it up, and they've done it by creating football and creating attack out of their half-back line and their back pocket, setting up some run, bringing the ball to ground, and all of a sudden they've got space, and when they get down past the centre line, Dennis Dunn starts his lead, and bang, on the chest.
And Sam Kekovich, us as being Victorians and VFA people a bit downcast. I don't think the VFA can do it. Where can they turn it around?
You have to incorporate the plural, us. Well, I don't know. I'm in a quandary. We spoke about it off air, where Trevor Barker and his cohorts can make the necessary changes. They're going to have to obviously restructure their positional approach, because they're being convincingly or comprehensively beaten all over the field. But the area that needs special attention is invariably that midfield and around the packs, where they're getting just thrashed around there, and they're just not getting enough quality possession around there and being run off their legs. There's no doubt that fitness, from a fitness perspective, that the Territorians are well ahead of us, and with their use of the ball both by hand and foot is far superior as well. And I guess apart from a handful of players, namely the likes of Livingston, Sinney, Williams in that first quarter I thought did very well. The big man, he did very well for the VFA. But apart from that, they had very, very few contributors. And really, when you look at where they can extract themselves out of the hole that they're in, they're just going to need a tremendous lift from every player on the field.
I thought the Territory might come down and look at this as a bit of an end-of-season trip. You know, they had a tough season. 2 weeks ago, the grand final, they probably let their hair down a little bit. But it seems like they're the more committed side, Kevin.
I think Coach John Taylor summed it up at the players' tea last night. He said, you've got a chance to write yourselves in the history books of football as being the first team to win on Victorian soil. And he said, once you've done it as a first, no one else can do what you've done. And he had them very pumped up last night. Similar speech again today for the match. And the NTFL has always regarded this chance to play in Victoria against the VFA as another chance to stake our claim as a major football league in Australia.
Well, this is second quarter highlights. There's Armat, who went off pretty early in the quarter, but he sent it forward, and that one sneaked through to Dennis Dunn. But again, he was leading out quickly and judged it the better. McGann hooking a goal here. Those 2 goals coming early in the quarter, and then they were really unstoppable.
West.
Here's a man who's come into it, West.
15 possessions to date, Mark West. It's been a good effort on the ball.
That free kick, setting up Adrian Collard for a goal.
Peter, I think the highlights we're going to witness in this second quarter will be all too familiar. You'll either see West or Stanislaus to Dunn for a goal. He kicked 4 second quarter goals, and
Donald McDonald,
at the other end of the ground.
Can he be left up at full forward?
Well, I believe the times now were right for Donald to be played in the ruck and try and give the VFA some presence around midfield. They're certainly wallowing there at the moment. But there's Dunn again.
That's the player you were talking about, Stanislaus, and his delivery to Dunn.
Would you lay any blame on Paul Barlow, who's got the job of looking after Dunn?
No, I wouldn't, because I did spring to his defence earlier. Even though he's conceded 5 goals, I believe the problem has been further afield. The midfield, the VFA's midfield and their on-ballers certainly aren't doing the job, not putting enough pressure on the running players of the Northern Territories, in particular the ones we just mentioned, Stanislaus and West. And of course you've got guys like Perry doing very well. And a guy you mentioned earlier too, Kevin, doing very well at half-back, who's never had his colours lowered in representative football, and that is Athanasio.
Yes, Mick Athanasio once again is having a terrific game. He always gives away several inches at centre half-back, and yet he thumps that ball and then he runs off the centre half forward and dishes out the ball to his running back pockets.
This looks like the one highlight over and over again, doesn't it?
Well, that's what I've said. But Peter, and I don't know what you think, Kevin, but I think the evidence is quite compelling that on the score of fitness and pace, that the Northern Territory are far superior. And they're the statistics. Well, stats don't always tell the true story when you analyse them there. The kicks being comparable, and I think the handball...
Actually, quite a few of those possessions, Sam, that the VFA had in the second quarter were short kicks and a couple of hand passes to get out of trouble and not really launching.
Well, that's a good point.
Play.
Very good point. They haven't really. There've been last-ditch efforts to get out of trouble, whereas opposed to the Northern Territory have used the ball far more efficiently and purposely and reaped the rewards on the scoreboard as well.
Well, the NTFL have been together as a team, this team, just once in training. That was last night, I believe, Kevin. The VFA probably have trained together a little bit more as a unit, but they've got the rest a season to make up for, haven't they? Because the Territory, don't forget, have just finished their year, and even though there obviously hasn't been a letdown, you would expect them to be able to finish on like they had.
Well, I was a bit worried during the week. I was down here in Victoria, not up in Darwin, and I made a few phone calls to see whether the players had switched off, gone to premiership celebrations, all that sort of thing. But all the reports I got were that players had a very disciplined approach to this game, and most of these guys played together in the representative side against Essendon on the Australia Day weekend football promotion. 7 of them played in the Aboriginal All-Stars against Collingwood. A lot of teammates in here from St Mary's and from Darwin, so a lot of cohesion there, and the timing of this match is pretty ideal for us. I think we haven't lost anything in that fortnight break.
Okay, Ross Booth, what do you think Trevor Barker can do during the second half to change it around?
Well, Peter, he's made a few moves, Sam. You'll be interested in this one. Smith has gone to full back to replace Paul Barlow. Alessio and Dyson Hall will be across half forward. They've had not enough marking strength across there. Saunders will ruck Rove and Dennis Knight back into the centre, and Brendan Moore to a half-back flank. So half a dozen changes there, but the key things being Smith to try and counter Dunn, and more efforts in the centre there, Dennis Knight, and across half forward with a bit of marking strength. But Donald McDonald really trying to fire the boys up there in the middle, a bit flat, but you know, by the end of the half-time break, a bit more feeling there. But so we'll wait and see.
Well, the VFA in this quarter going to the left of screen, which has been the scoring end, and it's Williams out-rucked by Howe on this occasion. Kick off the ground from Howe. There he is again, the big fella putting his body in. Pressure going on to Brendan Moore, and he matches Kiranua there for pace, and the throw-in is about 40 metres around from the Northern Territory goal.
Pretty good effort that by Moore to match a player like Kiranua, and he forced the throw-in.
Any sort of revival, it's absolutely imperative they get a score on the board early, preferably a goal or two to give themselves some heart. So at the moment, it's quite a gap. 37-point deficit they're confronted by.
Ideal conditions here for football at Victoria Park. Our autumn has been glorious here in Melbourne. I guess there's no such thing as autumn, summer, winter, spring in the Northern Territory. For Victorians who mightn't have been to the Territory, Kevin, what sort of weather are you experiencing up there this time of year?
It's towards the end of the wet season, and there's the wet and the dry. It's pretty simple. There's no autumn leaves or anything like that.
Turner getting away from Moore. Handball over the head of Wall, but the VFA had a chance to clear, but again, Territory doing a better job of keeping it in their forward line now and finishing the job off. That's what they didn't do in the first term. They could have conceivably had the game under control at quarter time. That wasn't the case, but they look to be in control now, unless the VFA can mount a challenge. High kick from Ghazi. Sini against Kiranua. Howe comes in to shepherd off Sini. Williams put the tackle in there on Scott Chisholm.
It's pretty unimaginative stuff, Peter, isn't it, when you look at some of the, well, that indiscriminate kick by Ghazi, really, it was just a kick and hope, where by comparison, the Territory, every time they gain possession, they endeavour to do something constructive and positive, pinpoint a target.
Perry's handball. West. Stanislaus, quick hands. Turner was going just a little bit quick to take the handball. Knight off the ground, only as far as McLeod. Here's Perry. No, fine tackle, Dallas Normington.
Yes, kept his eyes transfixed to the body then, Normington. Didn't watch the ball.
The ball lies, Sam, doesn't it?
Exactly. The body does not, Peter.
Knight.
We learnt that at school. First lesson in football.
Oh, that's a fine mark. Pulled down by Alessio. Now he could be a good move. He has got a fine pair of hands. Plays on the back line normally for Coburg. There's the determined captain of the Northern Territory side, Jeffrey, coming out. But the numbers with the VFA. Dyson Holland, good vision. And it's Bowden who'll go on. No, he decides he'll steady and have a shot at goal from 20 metres out.
And good play too, because he was reeling backwards. He never had the balance. He could have quite easily have muffed that. So Sandy prevailed, and he steadied, and he'll take a relatively easy shot from goal for about 20 metres. But just on Alessio, yes. Made a granite, Alessio, and he certainly won't be intimidated. He'll give him a sense of presence up there. That's a terrible miss, I think.
It's a lot more endeavour, Sam, from the VFA in this quarter. They're back to their tackling best, and they created something out of there from a situation that looked as though the ball was about to go over the boundary line.
Yeah, well, the one thing, you know, if things are going against you, Kevin, you know, you've got to contest. At least if you contest, you give yourself half a chance. And if you throw yourself in the line of the flight of the ball, well, something may positive happen, hopefully.
Jeffrey looking for Howe. A bit late. Christensen. Onto Athanasiou. Edwards at the back with a spoil. Harassing Collard. Both sides injury-free at this stage, except for Jason Jones, the ruckman. Bit of a corky. He iced it up at half-time and he's back on the ground. There he is, 21.
Sean Smith, Ross.
Okay, yep, full back. Saunders, who's ruck roving this quarter. Couldn't get the ball very far forward.
Did you listen to Trevor Barker's speech?
No, it's this modern thing, Sam, into a riddle room. And but there were some interesting people down in the rooms at half-time, including Alan McAllister, the president of Collingwood, chatting with Tony Hanbury, president of the VFA.
Alan gave the Darwin room at all, the Northern Territory room?
Don't think he had time, Sam.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Now.
See, Mark West has created beautifully for McLeod there.
Good long kick for a goal. Increases the margin. 42 points. Come a long way down again, Kevin.
Yeah, a good effort here by West. He just dishes out that hand pass to McLeod, and you know, don't forget, McLeod started this game in the back pocket.
That's right.
And did have instructions to feel free to run all the way up the ground if he wanted to, and he's done that several times. Actually, Coach John Taylor has made a couple of changes at half-time. You'll notice now that Stanislaus has, in fact, gone back to McLeod's back pocket.
Here's Alessio. Good distance on the kick, but it won't get to McDonald. Jeffrey was out in front of him. And Russell Jeffrey said the last time these two played on one another, Donald McDonald beat him, playing for North Melbourne against,
St Kilda.
St Kilda or Brisbane Bears? St Kilda.
Oh, the Bears, yes.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's had a stint at both clubs.
And Jeffrey determined to beat McDonald today. Now, there's Scurra going at the open goal. Got a favourable bounce, but not enough of the off break. So two behinds kicked so far in the quarter by the VFA.
It's poor play by Scurra there. He had Anthony Eames unopposed in the forward pocket. He should have passed the ball there. A certain goal will have resulted.
Cockatoo goes short. Look at that terrible marking.
Gee, that was very, very easy to get out of defence there.
Perry to West. Collard didn't quite reach the arms. Lennox. Ghazi from Dennis Knight looking better. Oh, Ghazi's almost was caught by Perry. Up go the arms of Saunders and thumps a poor kick. Look at that, the three
that is terrible,
territory
Ross.
players who could have marked that.
Shane Shearing's been pretty solid in defence there, and there's that man, Mick Athanasiou again. Gee whiz, he'd be toting up the possessions.
Well, I think that the VFA will be subscribing for euthanasia after today. Yeah, they really are having trouble with him, Kevin, across there, let me tell you.
Well, there he is again. Whoops, he walked into a tackle.
You right there, Peter?
Oh, that was Sam, that's one of your better ones. Yeah. There he is, he's laid the tackle on Knight. Livingston. McLeod running at Sinney. Good bravery from Sinney. Perhaps should have settled down. Scurra gave him a call, though. He's got to kick the goal. Well, McDonald will. No, it's Hicks. So Ashley Hicks going for his second, directly in front. Will not miss. And boy, do they need this one. So VFA kick only their fourth goal of the match.
And one of the real tries of their side, Peter Michael Sinney. You know, he's come in for some solid attention. I don't know whether Darwin did their homework and targeted Michael Sinney as being one that could be prone or subject to a little bit of extra attention. Perhaps he might falter under pressure. Kevin, was that part of the strategy?
Well, we didn't know a lot about City except that he was a prolific ball getter, and he's proved that today with about 15 possessions.
My word, he's done very well under.
He's been their best, I think, today.
Yes.
City. He's Kiranua's got a bit of magic there.
Into an open forward line. First there was Normington. Rioli in playing with the ball. Normington puts the tackle on, and in comes Scurra to lend assistance on the Territory's half-forward line. Their lead is 35 points. And umpire Segota. Colin Segota, short of the two umpires. Jones, a bit of too much height there against Lennox. Oh, was that high? No. Rioli. Back to Stanislaus. From the 50-metre line. Good kick into the square. Who's at the back?
Oh, gee, that was close.
They've got a tremendous sense of presence, haven't they, the Territorians? They've always got almost like eyes at the back of their head. They know exactly what very rarely they panic under pressure. Very cool in the crisis.
Edwards, the target, and that's a fine mark. Bit more run in the VFA here. Normington, they've got loose men. Sinney. Hicks will have to fly. Brought it to ground well.
Oh, clever pass.
Now, his Port Melbourne teammate, Barlow, just had to crop a little bit. Sorry, Bowden. Now he goes towards McDonald. That's an easy meet for a full-back. Off the ground goes Ghazi for a behind, but the kick just made McDonald have to stop, and Jeffrey over the top.
Yeah, it has been a little bit more promising in the last 5 minutes from a VFA point of view.
Yes, it's a
bit harder with the ball.
Look at this, they're plugging up the Territory from getting that quick kick in, except
zone defence.
Here, yes, and they've got to make it a bit more difficult for the Territory. Now they've got some loose men. Stanislaus. He's got no one to kick to, really. Oh, went over Scurra's head. Rioli didn't take the present that was offered. Lennox. Shooting it inboard to Saunders. Alessio spreading it wide. He's going for goal, Saunders. The big torp. That's a team lifter.
That's a tremendous goal and a good team lifting goal. You're right, Peter. And a tremendous cut-out hand pass there by Alessio. He cut out the first player and took the second option, which was Saunders. And Saunders, a prodigious torpedo. Now, who said they were going to be phased out of the game?
Don't see him kick well on the run too often.
No.
And they noticeably, players ran to support there and congratulate. The first show of spirit from the VFA
and
all
that's
afternoon.
A good point, Ross.
And I'm just really following on what Donald McDonald was saying in the rooms at half-time. He was commenting on that lack of spirit. So can they keep it up? Fisted away by Knight. Paddled forward by Karanua. Knight's there first. This is good. Feeds it out to Livingston, who fumbled.
Just a bit of hesitation creeping into the NTFL's game. They might have just been starting to relax a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of their players on that occasion, flat-footed, as you correctly mentioned, Kevin. The VFA got half a sniff.
Jones fisted it down. Edwards got it down, and then it was knocked on. Sinney got it to Bowden. Here's McLeod on half-back for the NTFL.
VFA starting to run in numbers too, which they weren't doing in that first couple of quarters.
Cockatoo goes wide to, oh well, it was a push in the back. And the free will go to Stanislaus.
Been very good, Stanislaus.
Feeds it off back to Cockatoo. Long and direct. Lennox to the back will spoil. Ball was roving. It went to the back. Beat Livingston. Normington.
Been solid, Normington.
Pressured by Wall. Out towards Sinney.
Play's really going around the wings, isn't it? I haven't seen too much play right through the middle of the ground. It's usually then centred once it gets past centre wing towards half forward, but Sinney has been in the play a lot on his wing. Comes off the knee of Knight, straight to Eames. Now it's Rioli against Scurra. Scurra knocks it to ground. Dyson Holland, knock on from Ghazi was good play. Wouldn't bounce up for Sasha Dyson Holland. He beats three though. Hicks is free. He'll go over the top. No, he has to kick the goal himself. When he made the decision to go, it was imperative that he made sure it was a six-pointer because he had McDonald in the goal square. So 2 in the quarter for Ashley Hicks. The VFA have kicked 3 goals in the term in about the last 10 minutes of play, and they've got their tails up a little bit.
And they've evolved because of the greater competitiveness by the VFA. They're starting to compete, and all of a sudden the half opportunities are starting to arise. And on that occasion, we'll see, I don't know whether we'll see the replay, but Sadi Ghazi went up there, knocked the ball on, and all of a sudden an opportunity arose, and they reaped the benefits of it.
How beat Williams at the centre square. That Williams goes in strongly, and the VFA through Livingston go to half forward again. A contest from Dyson Holland. Well roved Ghazi. Swooper runs on it. That's Scurra. He'll give it back tonight, his teammate. That is in Springvale teammate. Bit of a fumble by Saunders. And a free kick given away by Saunders into the back of Steve Turner.
Yes, Ghazi had a little bit more life in those legs, a bit more spring. Which is good news. And they need a bit of life around the packs.
Again, it was Mick Athanasius' tackle that affected that ball coming to ground and allowed Turner to pick up that free kick.
Eames got the ball out to Moore. There's the mark from Dyson Holland. Bowden running free. Plenty of time to steady. He makes sure of it. The VFA running hot now. Brendan Moore played a part in that, but the goal was kicked by Sean Bowden. And Dyson Holland spreading the ball out to him.
Yes, the fluctuating fortunes of football, eh? One side comprehensively on top, and now in the short space of 10 minutes, the VFA looking the better side.
All of a sudden, the VFA winning the ball in the packs too, because they're going in there in numbers, giving support to each other, and we'll see at this set of break much of the same thing, I think.
Yeah, good comment, Kevin. They certainly are attacking the ball a lot harder.
Williams up high, but he's beaten by Howe. Grabbed by Perry. Long, 40 metres from goal. Important contest. Almost brought down by Jones. Loose one, quickly on the boot.
It's a
and
goal.
What a magnificent effort by Quoll, who's come off the bench.
That is classic Kevin Quoll. He is a great opportunist, and gee whiz, that's an important goal.
Geez, the master of improvisation, I'll tell you, if that kick, does he kick a few of those, does he?
Sure does.
Well, if he can ever manufacture...
If he'd missed, you criticise him, Sam, for not kicking on the left foot.
Well,
he really never had a chance, did he?
Well...
He was off balance.
Oh, gee, they got a lot of crowd appeal.
Well, it was back to 17 points, but this makes it 23, this goal from Kevin
Just
Quoll.
need that bit of a steadier, Kevin.
Yeah, very important 6 or 7 minutes coming up to the latter stages of the third quarter. The Territory will be looking to create a bit of extra pressure on the VFA here.
All of a sudden, the numbers back with the Territory. Kick forward was from Cabillo. Oh, didn't really have it there. Edwards, he was being held onto the whole time by Quoll. Good tackle, Stanislaus.
Yeah, very
Moore, he didn't have great opportunity to get rid of it, but well retarded and directly in front for Stanislaus for his second.
Mark this down as a goal, because he is
All right,
a very accurate kick.
You got the white ink if it has to be erased. And 2 quick goals, should that be the case, would be a great steady from the NTFL. It's a goal, all right. I'll never doubt you again, Kevin. But, well, they've answered the challenge thrown out to them by the VFA here, the Territory. And look at the determination. Great tackle around the waist. He was unable to get his fist to make a handball there. More.
Prior to that tackle too, Mark West had gone in and got 3 hard balls, offloaded 3 hand passes, and he made a big difference. He's back on the ball at the moment, West, and I think Coach John Taylor might have thought, well, the VFA are getting back into the game. He's trying to put a bit of strength back in the packs.
Williams with a fist. Loose one. Ghazi. He's got a metre with him, Shearing. Tackle. Missed Dyson Holland with a hand pass. Grabbed by McLeod. And Shearing kicks to half back. In front is Cabillo. Senny trying to get it out. Now Eames, pretty quiet day for him. Onto the boot. Over the head, Ghazi. Now he's too far out to score, I'd suggest. Back there in the square is McDonald and Hicks waiting at his feet while he's at the back. Short was on, now it's not. Bowden's in the clear in the pocket. Well, Ghazi feels he can get the distance. Gee, McDonald was clear then.
Bruce has picked up a bit.
Ghazi right to the line, and there's a mark to Dyson Holland. Alessio it is. Second time correct.
Very strong overhead is Alessio. Centre half back for Coburg, or anywhere actually. Centre half back, centre half forward, full forward. Very versatile player and built, as I said, carved out of granite, tough as tungsten.
Yes, he's one of those players, Sam, that you play centre half forward with the wind and centre half back against.
Exactly, and in fact in Coburg's case that's exactly what they do.
Sure,
player.
Territory viewers who mightn't have seen him before, he is the brother of Stephen Alessio, who plays for Essendon, and it's been suggested if he had even one more inch in stature he'd be an AFL player as well, but he makes up for it. He's got the best pair of hands.
So it's been a good move by the VFA selectors to get him across half forward. See a couple of bounces have favoured Paul Williams for the VFA. There he is, feeding it out to Brendan Moore. Looking for Eames. He's a short player. He'll have to fly with Shearing. Oh, well done, Cockatoo. Back inboard. Jeffrey shepherding his man in Turner. He kicks across the goal. Out towards McLeod. He's got great skills and pace. Nice gather. Sinney goes after McLeod. Good chasing, but look at McLeod go. Sinney knocked off the ball. McLeod long to half forward. Up the back. Good spoil. Was from Normington. Who's at the fall of the ball?
Robbie Armat.
Armat to half forward. And Jones. Well, he's moving pretty well for a man with a corky at half time. Looks for Dunn in the pocket. Oh, lovely kick. And, well, Sammy, I guess it doesn't matter who you put on him.
Well, he's just got a wonderful pair of hands, isn't it? It's a vice-like grip, and he brings the ball down straight away. You know, you really got to be on him. You're half a metre, and you know, good night, your chances.
Loves kicking goals from the boundary line, too.
Oh, don't tell me he can kick this.
Well, he's
Yeah.
5 goals still to Dennis Dunn. 4 in the second quarter.
Sure that goalpost didn't move, Sam?
Oh, geez, I've shot my foot off a few times lately.
23 points the difference. VFA got within 17. There's Ghazi's kick. Bowden's roaming far and wide. Ghazi had to be quick with the handball. Williams has got good ball skills for a big man, and he kicks it a long way. Here's Dyson Holland coming into the game. Away from Anastasiou. High kick is a poor one. McDonald had led earlier, but he got back to spoil on Jeffrey. Now Turner. Nice use of the ball to McLeod. A good stop-start at the moment. All the men manned up as far as the territory are concerned. High kick for Jones. Behind the pack, Edwards. Been a good contributor all through the game for the VFA. Ghazi's coming into it, and Moore's really giving them some drive off half back. Almost pulled in there by Shearing. Cockatoo gives him some support.
Big poor chasing.
Yeah, it's 2 against 1 here. That was a bad option, and Livingston taking the mark for the VFA.
Centre wing, he likes to go short, Livingston. He doesn't that time. Looking for Dyson Holland. Another strong mark.
Sprung to prominence in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Sasha Dyson Holland.
Makes a big difference, doesn't it, Sam?
Yes.
When you get on top in those key positions.
Donald calling for the ball. In front of goal. Up he goes, in front. Not gathered by Eames. Couldn't keep it in.
Been very vigilant, that defence of the territory.
.24 points the difference. We've played about 21 minutes. Alessio. Armat. He and Shearing got tied up a little bit, but Jeffrey's there. Perry's the target. He's got 3 to beat here. He has to be sure he's handling, and he did very well, Stam.
Good vision by Athanasia there too to see McLeod.
Oh, and that was good play from Sydney, because he was away, McLeod, and they wouldn't have stopped him. That was a good professional foul.
Yep.
Donald McDonald was exhausted at full forward. Meantime. Just
a little bit unhappy with the attention he was getting there, Keranua. They're propping and copping a bit at the moment, the NTFL. They're not really running the ball up forward like they were earlier. Perry's handball out to West. Oh, ball handball. The turnover here will be costly, but he does well, Howe. And West wants to go and make up for it. That's good play. Here's Dunn right down the spine. Couldn't pull that one in. He went over the top of his teammate and has hurt himself. think it was Cockatoo, was it? Got no underneath him there.
Yeah, well, it was a blatant free kick there. That was a poor and crude tackle on that occasion, or hip and shoulder endeavour.
Kevin Quayle just sort of put his body over the ball and waited for the tackle to come, didn't he?
By Saunders, Sam.
Yes.
I didn't know whether you wanted to mention it or not.
No, I didn't really want to mention it, Ross, but now that you mention it, we might as well let him know, because we're probably doing him a favour. Future reference.
See what Qualls like from 50 metres. Ordinary kick, but it might come off. Almost grabbed there by Jones. Lennox. Moore. Ghazi running into space. Got some backup. Good play from Edwards. Good play from the NTFL. Cockatoos missed with the handball by Ahmat. A little bit slack there was Ahmat with the handball. Here's McDonald. Well, they're streaming into the forward line. Cochrane, one of them. He's confident he can by the look of it, Sam.
Big 12 Peter. Remember that at Werribee last year, Peter?
Don't know that he needs to kick a torp here. He's got the wind right behind him. He's kicked 2 goals, the VFA captain.
Very, very important kick just before three-quarter time.
Circumspect Russell Jeffries on the mark.
He's looked for the extra distance and pushed it. 23 points is the lead for the NTFL. Siren for three-quarter time won't be too far away.
At least, Sam, I mean, the margin not 37 points. It's closer. It's still winnable. That's the thing that the VFA should.
Well, I think the heartening part, Ross, is the manner in which they're going about it. At least they're being a lot more competitive, and they're endeavouring to. They're trying things.
Christensen
working harder.
Looks for Howe. Cockatoo up there, but Howe had the stronger grip. Been pretty impressive, the big fellow.
Yes.
Feeds it out to Shearing. Up goes Dyson Holland. No one at the fall of the ball.
Cabillo is.
Livingston was a bit one-eyed there, was Kevin. Thumped forward by Jones. Underneath it, Perry. 2-on-1. Good spoil. Edwards. You'd have lucky to have had him. Back to Normington. Gave the ball away. Athanasia. Stanislaus it is. Lovely vision to West. West from 50. He's offline. He's kicked it straight to 2 VFA defenders.
Some magical skills on display here.
Yeah, he sold the dummy Stanislaus.
Yeah,
beautifully, didn't he? This is Scarra. Now the VFA static. So the high kick for Alessio. He's got 3 players to beat. Well done, Anthony Alessio. And Athasia really didn't attack that one. He was running at the ball. Good running down the ground there from Brendan Moore. Oh, McDonald's almost wrestled it down. Cochrane. Good defence from the NTFL. Under pressure in that quarter, but they stood up to it pretty well. NTFL kicking 3 goals in the term. The VFA kicking 5 to trail by 23 points with a quarter to go. And they've won that quarter. That's the first time you could say that for them. Donald McDonald looked to be in a little bit of a distress there towards the end of the term. Alessio came into the forward line, gave them something. Brendan Moore, I thought, off half-back, also a good contributor there. There he is, just going out of picture on your right. But more spirit shown by the VFA, Sam.
Certainly, Peter, was a spirited revival, especially the opening 10 minutes. Sasha Dyson Holland at centre-half forward was a focal point. Alessio gave them a little bit more prominence up forward as well. And, of course, around the base of the pack, you had Ghazi starting to get a few touches, and of course the guile and the wizardry of Ashley Hicks was a little bit more prominent, and all of a sudden they rattled on 3 or 4 goals and looked a real chance. But they weren't to be denied, Northern Territory. They steadied and got a couple back, namely through McLeod and Quoll. Stanislaus continued to dominate along with West. But all in all, a better quarter, I thought, of football from the VFA. Because that competitive edge, they ran a lot harder, and obviously they made a pact between themselves at half-time that at least, you know, let's have a dip. And it's amazing the opportunities that do evolve when players are prepared to put their bodies in and contest. Because a couple of those goals did evolve direct through their ability to contest and put themselves into the fray, Kevin.
Probably for the first time in the game, the VFA were running in numbers. They were supporting each other with shepherds, hand passes, 3 and 4 going at the ball. And as a result of that, they were able to create some opportunities for themselves. And when they started to get on top around centre-half forward, it helped too. The VFA are by no means out of this game. There's only, just under 4 goals the difference. and it wouldn't take much. A couple of quick goals at the start of the quarter, and away they could go.
Well, the Territory got the first goal in the term, went to a 7-goal lead. Did you think that they then sort of sat back a little bit, just started to thump the ball up forward rather than that running play that had got them into?
Couple of players who had been tackling hard and running hard all of a sudden just became spectators for a few minutes. Then West went off the ball, and I thought they lost a bit of strength around the packs as a result of that. And all of a sudden they had to turn around and regroup. Coach John Taylor made a few changes to spark a few people into action, which was fairly handy. But I think it'll come down to a fair bit of desire in this last quarter, and I think we're actually set for a good, solid 25 minutes of football to finish off today.
Yes, I think the scene is set for a blockbuster last time. I'd like to see the VFA, and there is the man in question at the helm of the Northern Territory. See if we can hear what he's saying.
He looks looks a bit stern. He knows darn well
something, Kevin, everyone seems to be attentive when he's talking, when he's holding the podium, and there's not a few, all the eyes are transfixed on him.
And Trevor Barker, a little bit quieter. We should be able to hear him anyway. We've got a microphone in there eavesdropping on the VFA coach.
They broke the player. First option, all the time. Let's just give it off and run. As I said at half time, we have got nothing to lose, and you showed, and you only got a little bit flat in the centre square. They got 2 easy goals. Otherwise, you control the quarter. You put your body more on the line. They're starting to look like they're starting to tire a bit now because we have scored in that quarter. That's fast.
Territory footy from the vault is thanks to these valued partners.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better, and I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Consider the applicable PDS before making an investment decision.
The time to kickstart your business is now. Get your message across with the experienced local TV production team at Kick Digital. Cost effective, rapid turnaround, exceptional service. Kick Digital, television production, energised.
What do you reckon?
Well, they are futile, aren't they, when you look at the left-hand side of the ledger, being superior to the right, and the scoreboard tells you what?
Not much at all comes out of those stats, really, except, I guess, stating the obvious, the VFA extra height,
and the fact that it's Paul Field's first day back at the job, too, at the office, and it's quite conceivable there might have been a few mistakes there. Paul, I apologise, but yes, the statistics of time don't tell the whole story, unfortunately.
Well, I think it'll come down in this last quarter to who can dominate those centre breaks, where Mark West has been doing a lot of his damage, and whichever team is going to be able to start to create the run, because both teams will be feeding off runs of 3 and 4 players. Whichever side is able to do that early in this quarter can look forward to some pretty good things.
Yeah, that looked to be Jones hobbling away. One thing I will say about the Territory uniform, who does the ironing up there, Kevin? They need to smarten themselves up.
There was a mix-up, I understand, between the bag with the shorts in it and the bag with the jumpers in it and whatever, and the team manager, Costa Carriolis, was telling me this morning that had to make a late dash to the laundry about 1 o'clock this morning to do some washing.
Costa's another public servant. Everybody up there seems to be public servants.
Yeah, Costa Carriolis works with Youth Sport and Recreation in the Northern Territory, and actually he was our team manager in '88 too. He's done a terrific job with senior and junior footy teams.
Well, that's Cochrane for the VFA.
What are you alluding to then, Peter? The fact that they're public service predominantly? What?
No, everyone I've met so far they're involved with footy seem to be public servants.
Well, with football game professionals, possibly the only people who've got the time to afford to.
Roscoe.
Thanks, Sam. Yes, Trevor Barker's abandoned the zone defence, so it's man on man, and John Taylor criticised his plays. He felt they were Learising a bit in that quarter, not enough chasing and tackling the forward line, and he doesn't want his side just to be competitive, get the first 4 goals and come off. Victoria Park, Collingwood, winners. Very important quarter for Territory football, he said.
Yes, that really would be a good double after the problems out here last year. And then, of course, the reconciliation of the All-Stars Collingwood game. And then to win on Victoria Park would be, well, I guess the double for the NTFL. And here's a good chance with Wall having a shot at goal to get away to a brilliant start. And the Territory have done just that. They go to a 29-point lead. Chris Wall gets his first goal.
And it all went back to that centre square. Mark West got the pass away. And away they just that point, Peter. Terrific hosts for us down in Melbourne. They have looked after us particularly well, as have North Melbourne. And Collingwood's establishing itself a pretty friendly base up in the Northern Territory.
You think, things might end up okay for them out of this, and some bridges have been fixed, do you think?
Absolutely, no doubt about that. And it'll work well for both groups, I think.
Boot forward from Saunders. That's 2 against 1 here, so some pressure on Cockatoo. Now, Bowden can shepherd for Cochrane, but not before the boundary line wins. And then McLeod got over there to help his teammate, Jason Cockatoo. Now, Ken Howe, alone in the ruck. The fist not always that direct.
Ken Howe, by the way, not a public servant. He's a former Victorian policeman.
And not a policeman, you're telling us?
No, he's resting between engagements, apparently.
There'd be a few between assignments up there, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Cockatoo. Nice evasion. He's been a good player. Devon Perry. Here's Howe. Met by Cini. Bowden. Oh, gave it to Karanua.
Oh, great recovery.
A little spoon up to Anathasiou going through. And out comes Edwards. Gets a free kick.
Probably, along with Cini, the VFA's best, Edwards.
SEO.
Made a very big difference, hasn't he, for the VFA?
He's a very good player.
Oh, Williams showing some nice evasive skills. McDonald backing back into the pack was smothered, and Shoering out towards
Kiranua, and not a lot of endeavour shown there. And I just noticed that Marty Christensen looked very, very tired after he just had a run at the ball. So
he had a big second quarter, Christensen, but I can only remember one possession in the third term. Kiranua there didn't really put in, but West is and has all game. Run down well, though.
Dyson Hollander was. A really good effort by him. Over the ball and being held.
It's a very good decision. Very good decision, that one. I mean, he made no attempt to get rid of it when he'd been tackled.
Cabillo it was, and the kick going to Livingston. Out in front of Alessio. Centre wing. Up in the air. Looking for a big grab from McDonald. He's in front. The spoil was good from Jeffrey. Loose one. Scarra's a big kick on the left foot. Hicks and Shoering. The VFA edge closer. Paul Scarra.
He's
snap.
Prodigious kick on his left foot. Ross, we saw in last year's final series, where he was a tremendous contributor to the Springvale club.
And we saw a young chap in the background there with a Springvale Guernsey on. Don't forget, next Friday night, the VFA season starts for 94 with Springvale at home under lights to Paran. That's a first for the VFA this season.
A tremendous initiative under lights, the opening encounter, and looking forward to that one. Promises to be a good match.
What's that, about 28 possessions already, I think, for Mark West?
There's the Edwards pass, and it's onto the chest of Ghazi. Alessio calling for it. Oh, chipping in. Good interception there from Christensen. Cini, Williams, Alessio. They're going backwards quickly here, the VFA. Ghazi bounces off one. Nice play, Sadi Ghazi. Scurra. Knight will go close. Behind.
Yeah, just held up their play a little bit too long. So it's amazing. We mentioned the differing contrast of play. Ghazi on that occasion being a rover, you know, was compelled to be held up for, you know, 5 or 6 seconds, whereas Northern Territory, smaller players are off immediately setting up the play.
Jeffrey kicks to
drawing a
Athanasio
player.
over the top. Now Ahmat. He's got pace. Look at Moore go after him. Ahmat just too quick. Moore's run pretty well though. The kick-off balance out in front of Jones. He's tackled by Lennox, who's been a fairly solid defender. Out comes Saunders. Sinney shepherding him. Not very effective. Lennox got one high, played for it, and is rewarded. Simon Lennox. Moran half-back. Lead from Hicks. Going pretty wide. 2-on-1 it'll be if Hicks doesn't mark. Into the back goes Athanasio. And the ball.
Gee, that was a rarity. First time I've ever saw the Territorians seek the thanks to the boundary line. Kevin, they're normally endeavouring to keep the ball alive and inbound.
A few players really are feeling the pinch out there. There's no doubt about that. I mean, football at this level's a tough game, and we're in the last quarter.
Scurra's kick through the hands of Dyson Holland. Qualls handball to Turner. Ghazi does the chasing. McLeod easily.
McLeod's probably one player who should be feeling tired because he's had so many possessions, but he's got plenty of run in him.
Shoering giving as good as he gets. Taken by Jones. Well, he has been free for a while, Collard. The pass was aimed at him, but chipping in there was Perry.
Dunn.
His kick to Dunn, knocked away by
Great
Smith,
recovery.
who's gone onto the back line. Well, a free kick to Collard against Sinney. And the loose man directly in front is
Robbie Ahmat, and wouldn't it be terrific for the 16-year-old to kick a goal in for the Northern Territory on Victoria Park?
It's a big occasion for the youngster, isn't it? 16 years to be on such hallowed turf. He certainly would have felt...
his father, by the way, is one of the NTFL selectors, and he's here for the game. Doodles Ahmat.
That's Robbie missing at the Yarra Falls end. Matt turns 17 in July, and he plays for Darwin, the beaten grand finalists in the NTFL this year.
On your grand final, Kevin, what was your crowd in attendance?
Crowd was about 6,500, I think, from memory, and they were a bit disappointed because it wasn't much of a contest. St Mary's victors by 19 goals. Cockatoo's having a blinder, isn't he?
Yeah, he played well.
Ball to play on. West just playing with Sinney. Spoils his good work.
Yeah, it's most uncustomary. Seen very few blemishes in West's disposal. Normally impeccable. But Sinney's fought very, very hard. So I've given him the nod as the VFA's best. Ross, I know we don't have a vote of consensus on that issue. You're always the overriding factor, but I just thought 15 minutes to go. That's my nomination.
Up goes Lennox. Sinney, well, there he is. Nice roving. Up towards Dyson Holland. Now Bowden, he looks a bit tired, couldn't turn. Dyson Holland running onto it. Can he paddle it over the top? Gee, it looked like a throw to Ghazi. And again, can he get it? Man clear. Williams, a left footer. Just can't hook it back enough. And they had a chance for a goal there, but just looked a little bit tired to finish off. Sam?
Yes. And Williams has worked. He's given his all to the big man. He's worked terribly hard. It's a big ground to negotiate, and he's virtually done the ruck one out.
Would have expected to see more of Simon Clark out there today.
Yes.
He's played about 15 minutes. One of the VFA's best ruckmen.
Good work there by Jason Jones to collect that ball, almost like a rover, but it's come undone for them.
Well, Christensen thought he'd been legged. Umpire let it go. Saunders kicked it forward. Here's Saunders again.
That's a huge thump by Athanasio, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a tremendous defensive punch. All of 40 metres.
The VFA haven't used their interchange very much. I know Clarkson's on the bench.
Why, Ross?
Being a good player, I don't know why.
Well, you would think with the side being comprehensively beaten, there would be an ideal opportunity to sort of use it.
Bowden's looking a bit tired now. Clarkson's been a good player when he's been on the ground. Get him back on.
Barlow's still on the interchange.
I think Howe's got a free kick here, and
two big men feeling the final minutes of the quarter. It's exhausting.
Howe a bit groggy. Out to Jason Cockatoo.
How many touches? Well,
about 6,453, I think, Cockatoo. He's had so many possessions.
Ball went through the hands of Wall. Handball out from Moore to Scurra. Bowden. All the VFA here, Alessio. Now there's plenty of men calling for it in the right-hand forward pocket. He goes to the left and finds McDonald.
There's still enough time, Sam, you know. 13 minutes.
Now those loose men haven't been picked up. It's a poor kick from McDonald, but it might still come off. Ghazi, can you get it to the goal square? There's someone waiting. But instead it's Turner who takes it away, and the VFA lose an opportunity. I think McDonald, feeling the pinch, didn't think he could make the distance. There's the kick from West, and that makes good ground.
Yes, and answer to your question, Ross, there's no doubt there's plenty of time there to win it. Only 4 goals, or 5, but the way they're going, one just senses that it's an impossible task.
Williams in the ruck against Howe.
A few forlorn figures out there in the VFA, heads down.
Christensen couldn't feed the hand pass out. Quick kick by Saunders, the VFA to half forward. Cockatoo, happy to see it over.
Kevin, Jason Cockatoo, a bit taller than the rest of the Cockatoo clan. What relation is he to they and Cockatoo Collins?
I'm not actually sure if he's related to Shay Cockatoo Collins or not. Jason's, in fact, family comes from North Queensland, is where they're based. But he's had a couple of good seasons for Southern Districts Footy Club, and he's got better the last couple of years, and he's had a great day today.
Bouncing ball stopped by Turner. Quick hands by Cochrane. Who's going there one-handed? It was Hicks. Through comes West. Knocked clear by Dyson Holland. Turner feeds it out well to Perry. Back to Jeffrey.
Lead his charges very well, Jeffrey. He's very solid.
Up towards Jones. In from the side. Comes Chisholm. Twisting, turning. Down goes Knight.
Andrew McLeod come a long way down.
And done. Or Collard it is.
Kevin Quoll, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Quoll. Yes, he's kicked that beautiful goal in the third quarter, and then coming off the bench. So can he add to his 1?
Well, the Quoll family back in Darwin, who'd be watching this, would be hoping that he can add another one. He's a pretty popular lad, Kevin.
132 games at 24 years of age.
Yeah, he made his debut when he was about
12.
15 or 16. And
right to the line. Oh! Well, nice finish from Kevin Quoll. So 2 goals to him for the afternoon.
Well, it certainly is a black day in the VFA's history today. There's no turning it around now, Roscoe. That was a fine goal by Kevin Quoll from about 50 metres out. Here we see it. Classical kicking style. They really do have the skills, don't they?
And in the meantime, Andrew McLeod sort of goes jogging back to his defensive position.
Yeah, he's impressed me, McLeod. He's got better as the game's gone on. Now, Bowden. You really have to take possession first time. You're not going to get a second opportunity. Hicks, clever play to back out of the pack. Fine mark taken by Dyson Holland or Alessio. Alessio it is.
Gee whiz.
Now, McDonald, you can hardly blow out a candle at the moment. There's the goal kicked by Dyson Holland.
That's right.
Sasha Dyson Holland. Actually, after half-time, he's really worked hard, and it took a couple of telling marks in that third quarter.
Now, interchange being made. I notice Williams coming off and Clark coming on, and Eames coming back on too. And I reckon these moves might have been made 5 minutes ago. Look at there's McDonald, a beautiful expression, Pete. Couldn't blow out a candle. A few of them are like that. So quick reply. Do they need another one now? Clark in ruck, up against Jones. Clark won it. Saunders held when he got rid of the ball. Moore uses his pace. Will kick long. Thump. McDonald at the back. Ball dropping into the breeze. Bowden feeds out the hand pass. Alessio on the left foot. A high one. Right into the square. At the fall is Hicks. Oh, good smother. It was Stanislaus.
Good pass,
well,
yes.
I thought it was touched off the
great pass, wasn't it?
Bowden.
Steve Cochrane. Paul Williams.
He's going to be instrumental in Frankston's big season, I think, this year. Frankston,
word.
if you missed earlier on the day, were 9-point winners in the Foster's Special Bidder Cup, the pre-season competition in the VFA.
It's 28 points the difference. Bowden with a goal, it's down to 22. The clock ticking up to 14 minutes. Well, a nice goal on the angle. That's 14 minutes of clock time. Second goal to Bowden. So how long the quarter's been running, Pete?
About 26.
4, 5.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible, but they don't just seem to be grabbing the metal, is that the right expression?
Grasping the metal.
Yeah,
Grasping the metal.
Can't quite do it.
But Bowden's worked hard, but he's just been too in and out of the game. And bearing in mind, he's had a lot of others that have fallen in that category, especially around that midfield.
I think what would certainly, from Port Melbourne's supporters' viewpoint in watching him, he's getting where the ball is anyway, even if he hasn't been handling it correctly the first time.
Sinny's off now, Clarkson on. And can Clark work it with Knight in the middle? Clark does it all himself. Dyson Holland, Alessio waited for it to bounce. Maybe should have been a bit quicker. Gee, took a long time to get rid of it. Saunders in trouble. And they clear at the territory. Good work off the ball by West. Good Shepherd. The kick in towards Turner.
At a very fine turn of pace, the youngster. Delivered the ball beautifully up forward, and of course it's that man up forward again.
Chris Wall, not Turner, as I said.
The VFA
Mark
player
West,
there found himself walking into a wall of 6 territory defenders back on that half-back line, and gee whiz, what a sight.
Kicked 1 goal in this quarter. That looks like number 2. Chris Wall gets his second for the term.
Kevin, what I think would be really impressing John Taylor is that every time the VFA have asked the question, the territory have had the answer. They've come back and hit back with a goal immediately.
Certainly have, and it was a terrific sign there when those half a dozen defenders were just desperate to stop the VFA going back into attack again. And gee, I really feel sorry for the player. He looked up and all he could see was ochre, black and white staring at him, and then they just forced it out of the half-back region.
Okay.
Nice colour.
Yeah, that was the colour I was trying to think of earlier in describing what it is. Here's Dunn. That's full. No, it's not. It's Quoll that was spoilt by Edwards. Dunn hasn't kicked a goal since the second quarter when he kicked 4 of them. Chisholm's handball to Eames. Edwards. Knight. Bit of system from the VFA. Alessio got his body on it. Got a soft free kick.
Soft it was, but by geez, mate, he's had an impact since coming on the field in the third quarter, Alessio.
Coburg would like to use him up forward a bit more, I think. Scarra shoots the ball out. He was looking for Hicks. Now Christensen on the overlap. It's Armap. And he's been chasing him a lot,
great
as Moore, but Armap finds Dunn. Too far out to score. But he's going to go for them. 2 against 1, the VFA favoured. Swamping Collard.
Peter McGann's back on the ground, I noticed.
There's Normington from the McGann fist. Now Moore. Chance to show Armat's a clean pair of heels here. Bowden gives him support. Good play from Dyson Holland there. Kick from Turner. Jones. Now Armat. He had a good look. Who'd he see? Well, he was looking for McGann, but chipping in was Clark.
Terrible kick.
Shocking. I was just thinking of the elevation of the VFA's kick to the Northern Territories.
Player no chance. Back now inside half forward for the territory. A hand pass from Livingston to Edwards to Clarkson. Loses Hicks at half forward. The kick touched by Chisholm. Back to Hicks. In towards where it looked like he was looking for the umpire. Livingston bowled off the ball. In comes Edwards, lays the tackle. Strength by Perry. Nice twist, beautiful twist.
And terrific vision to see Chisholm out here.
Chisholm, little chip kick into Christensen. They use the ball better. Well, they have today. Long kick by Christensen. He might let it go, Collard.
Go.
Now, can he pick another goal? It's gone straight up in the air. And
he only had to give it to Peter McGann there, really. I mean,
the percentages were in the favour of him doing that, but
that summed up Damien Collard's day, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not had a very good day, has he?
In that first quarter, he was continually caught behind and got his hand to a lot of the ball, but unfortunately just couldn't hold on to it.
Now, Clarkson's on. He's given away a free kick to McGann. Well, they were really early season fumbles from the...
And it's good to see an ABC employee having a shot for goal, isn't it?
Well, he's already kicked one.
They don't often kick goals, Kevin.
He was warming up when I was in the rooms earlier about an hour and a half before game time, and John Taylor said, yeah, he's getting that old now. He needs this amount of time to get the muscles in order. And perhaps he should have warmed up a little bit more. That one never looked like threatening their scoring zone.
Sam, did you realise Kevin's the Darwin's equivalent of Doug Ayton?
I was for years.
Yeah.
I wasn't a full book on that, right?
That's drive time.
Kevin, that's an absolute insult, in case you don't know.
I'm just trying to work out whether it is or it's not.
Drive time now, still like the...
Yeah, 4 until 6.
Knight coming in to lay a tackle. Oh, going the other way.
Good effort by this player, Shearing, isn't it? He's had a consistent day in defence.
Turner. Wall couldn't quite get it. Round comes Stanislaus. Clarkson runs into trouble. Picked up by Saunders. Out to Moore. Gee, we've got away with it. Clark feeds it off. Smith in trouble. Back to Clarkson. Going in strongly was Quoll. Quick hands by Turner. Now Chisholm. Thumps long. In front was Lennox. Down goes McGann. Caught. Can't get his foot to it. Now loose. Collard. Well, he can't miss from 5 metres out.
It's in the Yarra.
It's going down Yarra Falls, that one, I think.
And I think just the way that he pumped his hands up there, I don't think he was so much saying, well, I've had a dirty day and that's pretty good. I think he was saying that I think the Northern Territory is home and hosed now and pretty happy. And he's probably thinking about the party after the game.
McGann, again, battled on very well there. There he is celebrating on the goal line, but he forced it out.
But once again, a relatively easy goal. You know, the defence should have done a lot better than that. Should have either forced the ball over the line or just conceded it behind. You know, opposition side should never score in that situation.
Mark West out of the centre again.
Good position for McGann there, got his hands to it. Kick towards the boundary from Tim Livingston. Well, they got within 17 points there in the third quarter, the VFA, but that's as close as they've got since quarter time when scores were level. Second quarter was all the NTFL, and every time the VFA have challenged, the NTFL have certainly answered the call. Teams being forced backwards. Clarkson. Normington has a man available, has to be quick, Smith. Ghazi the tackle, holding the ball against...
Tell you what, Mark West must be pretty fit because he's covered an awesome amount of ground today and he just hasn't stopped running all day.
Bowden for number 3. It's there. No, just touched on the line by Russell Jeffrey, the fullback. As on the ground goes Paul Barlow and Simon Lennox, who's had a good game.
Yes, he's played the consummate defender's role, Simon Lennox. Tight, checking. Very close.
Fine, long kick in. Finds Christensen. Oh, look at them streaming down the outer wing. Now, this is Stanislaus waiting to draw the man. Over the top of Moore he goes. Cockatoo's going to try and kick a goal, the defender. But Moore, clever play there. He ran off a little bit, but then kicks straight back to Stanislaus.
Some tired boys out there, Peter.
Well, I reckon Stanislaus should have a shot from here, and he's offloaded to Dunn.
Well, Dunn, distance shouldn't be too much trouble. He's going for his 6th goal. A quiet second half. But more than enough compensated for that. Got under that one a little bit. Knocked through by Barlow.
Yeah, although the opportunities haven't been coming forward to Dunn, they tightened up a little bit in that third term. Of course, the VFA were getting a lot more of the ball. They were attacking a lot more. Barlow's in the Clark direction. Ooh, punt.
Taken by Eames. Scurra to Clarkson. Looking for Alessio. Farms it down. Dyson Holland roving. Knight hasn't done a lot today. Dispossessed. And away goes Turner, I think, to half forward. Not such a good kick marked by Saunders.
Started on the interchange, Stephen Turner, and he's had a pretty good second half though, hasn't he?
Yes. Edwards.
Been good, Ross.
Sees Clarkson. Loose. Ghazi in turn at half forward. And Hicks, another loose man, can run in and goal from the angle. Unselfish, little chip into McDonald.
Yes, good vision on that occasion, and a good passenger play by the VFA. They worked that from the last line of defence with some good foot passing and good running, and Donald McDonald doesn't let them down by converting the VFA's 11th major, Roscoe.
And Donald's third goal, the full forward. And here we see Ghazi in the lead up to this goal, kicking to Hicks.
Well, it was a good passenger play, you know, good possession football.
I think they've been watching Dennis Dunn, the way he's worked at full forward. Space, leading directly up the ground.
29 points.
And when
the
that
lead
final,
to the NTFL, and Siren can't be too far away.
When the final pass was affected to Donald McDonald, I looked at the face of Paul Jeffries, and was he annoyed?
Scurra, quick hands out to Knight. Ghazi trying to do with his man. He couldn't. Shoering stood his ground, but knocked it straight to Alessio. McDonald's got a little bit of a jump here on Jeffrey. Scurra gives a hand. Dyson Holland. McDonald wants it back. Standing start, it's Bowden who pings away. Big fly on the mark taken by Hicks, was it?
Yes.
Ashley Hicks floating in there. And Ghazi just pulling Jeffrey away. Hicks has gone on and kicked the goal.
Well,
so Ashley Hicks gets his third.
Yes, a bit more respectability in the scoreline, Peter.
But a convincing win nonetheless for the NTFL. They've defeated the VFA by 23 points. That was the margin at three-quarter time. So the VFA have had the better, really, of the second half, but it was the second quarter that did all the damage when they kicked 6-1, the NTFL, to set up a 37-point half-time lead. 5 of the goals at that stage had been kicked by Dennis Dunn. He got one more for the match to end the leading goal kicker with 6. Russell Jeffrey, the captain, just going out of shot, very happy. And Kevin Norton, your team from the Territories created history. They've won in Victoria.
After the game, I think it was relief that we ended up coming, you know, we had a good win. At the start of the game, I think we didn't start well. I think they jumped us by 2 or 3 goals, I think, and it was a good fight back because you know, we just had a bit of a KJ said a few things to us and sort of like snapped us out of it, and the game just turned around. And the aftermatch and all that, it was so funny because back at the hotel, there was a few of the committee boys, or a few of the committee were so happy that we'd end up winning in the first time in Victoria. They said, look, you know, here's a couple of $100, go down to the pub and grab a few cartons and let's enjoy it back at the hotel. And one incident I do remember, there was myself, because they gave myself, Willie Rioli and Mark West the money to go and get some alcohol for the boys. We jumped in a taxi and Mark West jumped in the front, me and Willie Rioli sitting in the back seat. And we was just about to drive, and then Mark West looks over to the driver and said, "Hey brother, what do you do for a living?" And me and Willie Rioli looked at each other thinking, well, he's a taxi driver, so that's what he does for a living, Mark, you ning-nong. So every time I see Mark West today, or even Willie sees him, we always bring that up. Hey brother, what do you do for a living? And probably another funny thing happened at the hotel after the game. I mean, we was a bit tipsy, but not too drunk. And a few of the boys were like in some separate rooms. And I remember coming out on the hallway and I saw Andy McLeod just dancing around, coming towards me. And then Adam Karanua came out from somewhere, I don't know which one of the rooms. And I think he looked a bit grumpy. And then Andy McLeod just danced past him and just give him a bit of a whack behind the back of the head. And that's when you can see you know, it was all funny. Nothing happened, but it was just fun and games. And you can see, you know, Adam Carrigneur chasing Andy down the hallway. Next minute you see the old man, Jock McLeod, the father, looks out. You can see him popping his head out, looking down. What's happening? And you see his son running and see Adam Carrigneur chase him. So that was another funny memories that, you know, I mean, there was a lot of other memories, but there was only the two funniest that I can remember.
Thanks, Peter. Well, Tony Hadaway has the Northern Territory Best Player, and it's Andrew McLeod.
Andrew McLeod. Congratulations, Andrew, on a job very well done. Best player in a very fine team. The CUB medal goes to you with our compliments and best wishes. Thanks very much.
Congratulations, Andrew. Many possessions. Were you playing halfback flank?
Yeah, across the halfback, yeah.
You certainly covered a bit of territory, if I didn't mean that as a pun either. How old are you?
I'm 17.
What's your local club in the territory?
Darwin Buffaloes.
Right. 17?
Yep.
And you got aspirations to play football at a high level?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to make it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure today wouldn't have done you any harm. Congratulations, well done.
Have a look at his history now. You know, it's all pass and parcel now. He's what he's done for himself, his family, and plus, you know, put the territory, you know, on the map. About, you know, there are pretty good footy players up here in Darwin, and like Andy, like for a 17-year-old, I think the commentators interviewed him after the game, and they didn't believe that how young he was and how like with his talent. I mean, up here we've got raw talent up here, up in the territory.
What does it feel like? Because you beat the VFA back in 1988, and it was a very important day for the territory.
Well, back in 1988 it was, and today maybe even more so, because we're probably looking for some other avenue for our NT sides to take, and the VFA's put their hand up and offered to take us on, and we've come down, you know, obligingly. And I'm sure that everyone that watched the game today realised that we came down what we came for, and that was win the game, and it was good.
You're a much-travelled footballer yourself. I seem to recall you playing at Jerilderie and Geelong and up in the territory.
No, that's another Jeffrey. Yeah, I've travelled a bit, but my home's Darwin, and when I put this Guernsey on, I feel a lot prouder than any other Guernsey I've ever worn in my life.
That was great, and there comes the flag over the back there, quite appropriately. Well done, Russell, and John Taylor, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Your three-quarter time address was centred around not giving the ball away and more fight from the forwards, but in particular, not just to be competitive, but to really show that the Northern Territory is a very strong football area, and to come away with a good win.
Yeah, that was pretty much it in essence. As Russell said, we're very keen to make sure that people get the opportunity to see our skills. I think the Territory have been in the football wilderness for a long time, and the Bicentennial Carnival in 1988 put us on the stage, and that's why today was so important. We only had 5 players left from that side, and a lot of young fellas, like the young bloke standing next to me, who we've given our best player to, and a lot of other young blokes who are all the better for the experience. They just don't get the opportunity to play at that sort of level very often, and you can hear them in the background. They're all pretty happy boys.
They are.
Pulling on the NT jumper, it means a lot to all of us boys. That, you know, we don't really have state of origins up here, up in the territory. Only time we play against other states, and that when we do go away for like the championships, like schoolboys, Till Cup and all that, that's the only time we actually play against other states. But here in Darwin, and like putting on the territory jumper means a lot to us boys, you know, representing our territory and plus our community. And a lot of our community people from all the different remote areas, they all come into town just to come and, you know, see us boys, you know, perform against, you know, on the big stage against AFL teams. It was just good for the community of Darwin, you know, having like teams that come up here and play against us, to see their raw talent, you know, and plus them to see our raw talent as well. I hope it does come back one day. Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of the kids that's playing in the NTFL now would love to put on the ochre and white and play against other, you know, Queensland team or Waffle team or South Australian team. So it'll be good for them.